It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom.
Samantha's here. Butler went to the bank, I think. Not confirmed.
No.
Not confirmed.
Wait, did he wear his Durst hat?
No, he cannot wear the True Leave Fred Durst marijuana hat because his head is too...
elongated.
It's very pinky in the brainish.
But it's long like an alien.
It's shaped like a Publix balloon.
It's like an oval, but...
Yeah, it's shaped like
a football.
No, like a Publix balloon because the top is big and then it goes down and he's got that pointy weasel chin.
Oh, yeah. That's like an alien.
Yeah, alien head.
Yeah. Tiny chin, big head, but full of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a big for nothing scenario.
Yeah. Big for nothing.
It's big like a Remax hot air balloon.
Yeah. Let's do some pork.
All right, let's pork my man. Last week, everybody got really mad 'cause I didn't sing during this part. I did it as a social experiment to see if I could break this show apart. We're gonna get there eventually. I've been watching Tom checking the SunTrust Bank. He looked at our bottom line. It said 0 and next to it, it just said stank.
Love Porky, yeah!
Porky's Barbecue in Apopka. If you want some delicious barbecue, Steve's been there for how many years?
No time.
I mean, go get some hometown Apopka barbecue made by the nicest barbecue men in the world.
He makes it in Orlando and drives it to Apopka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yeah. No, it's made there. It's all made on site. No. All made on site. Hand smoked by Steve himself.
Yeah. Support Porky's. Go in there. Ask. I mean, if you're looking for a job.
If you know anyone looking for a job, I desperately need your help.
I don't even say support Porky's. I just skip the step and say Supporky's.
Supporkies.
I wonder if he could. I've been thinking about Steve for a while. I'm like, all right.
You want to marry him, dude?
Well, just with the.
He's got good meat, I heard.
His employees
swing around that big smoke D
shortage, and I hate to see him so stressed out because he's such a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like. Working his ass off and trying to keep his business going.
You may be projecting into his social media, rants. You may, you have to read it. You don't know what he's feeling as he's typing it. You might be reading into it.
Oh,
maybe he could. Maybe
he said, "Please, I need some help. I can't work this hard anymore."
You might be reading into
I don't know. Maybe he's saying it like a D head, like, "Please, I need some help. I can't work this hard anymore."
Duh. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Even when you say it like that, it seems desperate.
Maybe he's happy about it. Maybe he's like, "Help! Help! Help!"
Maybe I'm reading the wrong inflection.
I can't work this hard.
Anyway, it's Porky's at Apopka. If you can somehow go make the barbecue inside for him and buy it,
and then eat it,
yeah.
Do it all.
Oh, dude, that's what we do.
What?
Make your own barbecue. Show up, smoke.
MYOB.
Bring your own pig.
Bring your own pig.
BYOP.
BYOP.
Yeah.
Who's porking?
Yeah.
Bring your own pig.
Do not bring a pig to Porky's.
Do not.
Do not.
Like, why would you do this to me?
Don't bring a pig to Porky's unless it's a big biker mama. That is allowed.
Yeah.
She is allowed.
Yeah.
Porky's in Apopka.
Sorry. Who's pork?
That you know what that one was? That one was not our best.
No. So before we started recording today, we were chatting with the Twitch people about some Nickelodeon shows because I am wearing I had to fold up my Durst hat so I could put my headphones on so I look a little like Blossom.
Blossomy.
Dan started singing Blossom song.
Yeah.
You're about to go to the Nickelodeon resort. So
may I? Where is about the future? That's anybody's guess. That ain't no reason for getting all depressed. Now about your pen and paper, I'll give you a piece of my mind. Cause in my opinion, nation, the sun is gonna surely shine.
It's an interesting like theme song for Blossom.
It is weird. I'd never seen Blossom, so
isn't that Dr. John?
Made no sense to me.
I believe that's Dr. John, legendary Mardi Gras and Louisiana musician in the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Also, that song, what my dad whispered to me as he was dying.
I only knew that because a popular gambling podcast plays that when they do their best bets for whatever reason.
You shouldn't listen to that ever again.
So
it was performed by Dr. John.
I got it right.
But speaking of Nickelodeon, they did come out with a new Rugrats reboot. Were you guys Rugrats fans?
I enjoyed.
Is that past your time?
I enjoyed Rugrats. The shaky line drawing is a little.
Well, they've rebooted it now on Paramount Plus, and it is CGI. So maybe you want to give it a gander. Do you have Paramount Plus?
It's too many.
I don't know.
I think I do.
I
get
do.
confused. I got like.
I
Warner.
got it.
You got it?
I got Warner. I got Paramount. I got what I got AMC. I got the Netflix.
I got whatever.
I got Amazon.
The Roku home screen. I got all that. And
you got a full Roku home screen?
I think so.
Damn, this guy's high dollar.
He doesn't know what he has.
My wife doesn't let me have Hulu. Okay, tell me if this is okay.
What? Just get it.
Just
buy it.
It's not that easy. You think it's that easy? It's not that easy. When I log on to anything in my house, I believe my wife is borrowing passwords from other families because I see people's names I don't recognize, and I don't like that. Like I see, like I'll load up, like she'll be like, it's on Hulu. I'll go to Hulu, and then it'll just be like Steven, Alexa, Tommy, Tito, Freddie. Like it's all like different people's names, and I'm like, where are you stealing this from?
I've been waiting to find a flaw in Andrea for years.
I think she's cheap, dude.
Maybe
she's cheap.
Okay, if you're so organized, follow me with this. You're the most organized, efficient human that I've ever met in my entire life, right?
Thumb on the pocketbook.
And but as you age, that organization and stuff, and then you naturally get more like risk averse.
You gain weight too. You get saggier in your midsection. And
when you say conservative, it implies politics, but I'm not.
Fiscally conservative.
Yeah, I don't mean that. I just mean like you just start becoming more cautious, right, as you age or whatever. Maybe you get into cheapo grandma.
Yes!
And
now you get it.
Sometimes
my wife is a cheapo grandma.
And everyone
with an ass like a bulldog.
And then you don't really realize that cheapo grandmas, they go to the store.
Cheap grannies.
They have all their coupons organized.
Oh, she hasn't. No, they're all digital coupons.
Yeah.
Like she puts in her phone number, and then they're like, "You save $72."
And then every once in a while, you'll hear about a cheapo grandma, and then when she dies, like this cheapo grandma died with $17 million in the bank. You're like, oh my God, you're living the life of a spinster.
She won't buy clothes. Like the other day she bought she found a dress. She's like, look at this dress, and it was like a really nice looking like a what is that, like a t-shirt style dress with the belt. Like kind of like a safari looking deal. I go, oh, that's really nice. She's like, yeah, it's at Marshall's right now for $6. I'm like, $6?
Go get it, girl.
No, but I'm like, you're
don't even drive there.
Thank
Order
you.
on
He
the
knows.
internet.
This guy knows.
Yeah.
This is why we're business partners. By the time you drive down there, it's gone.
And not only that,
it was never there to begin with. A $6 dress, it doesn't
Do
exist.
they have inventory on Marshall's website?
I don't think so.
I don't
Every
think
time
so.
I've been there, the place looks like a bomb went off. It's like zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. They have inventory. What are you
Well,
talking
that's
about?
what I'm saying. How did she know it was at Marshall's unless she went there?
They don't know what they got in there.
No, they don't.
They don't know what they got in their stores.
No. It's I mean, everything could be different one
nailed
day,
it.
and they'll have no idea.
You nailed it. We're going to expound on this a little bit as time goes on. I think you nailed it. She is cheap, dude.
Well, going back to the Rugrats reboot,
sorry. Yeah.
if you're familiar with Phil and Lil DeVille,
they were the twins. Yeah,
their mother Betty in the reboot is now gay. So in the original, she was not. She was married to her husband Howard, and in the reboot, some people are upset because it's just different than the original, but other people are like, hey, it's good to be inclusive. A lot of people are tweeting like, hey, we all thought that they insinuated that she may have been closeted back in the 90s.
I think they kind of did, yeah.
See, I never watched
Wasn't she the lady
it.
that wore the suit?
Oh
The
yeah,
business
short
lady?
hair,
Yeah.
suit. We know.
We do.
And a lot of tweets were saying that. So I did not know.
I looked at her husband in the eyes and I'm like, you're
yeah,
no man.
Yeah, I'm like, look at how weak he is.
So you either are happy that they're being inclusive and or showing Betty's truth,
It
or
expands
you're
the
upset
story.
because it changes your childhood and
expan-
ruins it.
It ruined nothing.
It expands on the story. It's cool. Why not? You know,
Right.
I mean, the story continues. Whatever.
And the woman that now voices Betty is also queer. So
Okay, she was
makes
the
sense.
one that had the large female empowerment sweatshirt. I know exactly the character you're talking about, and that makes total sense.
You just have to normalize, as soon as it's normalized, then a generation of people will never have any stigma about it. Like I'm seeing it with my sons.
Yeah.
Literally, there's a Disney short, not to change the subject,
No, you're
but
good.
this kind of plays into it. There's a Disney short on Disney Plus right now that is about a guy that switches basically his dog collar falls off and goes on him and they switch brains, the old
I've seen that.
pee in a fountain, lightning strike. But anyway, he is trying to tell his parents that he's gay and he's got a husband that he loves and he doesn't know how to tell them. And then it's this whole little mini short about like being nervous about telling them.
Right,
and
right.
it's the thing. And I'm watching it with my sons and then I'm like, the two men kiss at the end thinking like, are they going to be like, oh, I've never
What
seen
is
that?
that?
Or be curious about it?
Nothing
Literally
is said.
zero.
No.
Yeah,
Literally watched it, never even
And it's a good
said
short.
like, oh, look
Right.
at two
Well-
boys kissing. Nothing.
So the lady that voiceovers Betty now says, she explained in an interview that Betty is a fictional cartoon, but even cartoons were hugely influential for me as a kid, and I've been watching Rugrats and seen Betty casually talking about her ex-girlfriend. I think at least a part of me would have felt like things might be okay in the future. Just having some kind of representation as a kid, even if it's in a cartoon, so that it is
Yeah.
normalized.
Yes, yeah. That's all it takes.
Totally cool.
And then I'm watching with my sons. They have no stigma about it, so it was like watching anything. You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
nothing. So like that's what it needs and that's what needs to happen.
Agreed.
Right?
Yep.
Because without that, then it becomes if you saw that, like if we saw that when we were teenagers, we'd be like, what? Like we'd be like, ew. Like I don't know, like because it wasn't normalized
Yeah.
for us, so it would be foreign. Like what? Are two
Yeah, it's just ignorance at that point.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you do. So
And
good.
So it works.
a lot of us were conditioned to think that was quote weird or whatever because
Right.
it was because there was no representation
you
unless
never-
it was
Right.
negative.
It's like if you grow up in a
for sure,
town
for sure.
that only has white people and that's it, and then you see someone else, brown person, you're shocked by it. It doesn't mean you're racist. It means that it's not normal to you. You're like, whoa, this is right.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not around everything, then it's weird to you. Anyway, so you got to just expose your kids to everything so that way
So
they don't have
Betty
any
is
stigma.
now out as her true self, living her life.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do they go through the rest of are the rest of the characters older now, or they're obviously not babies anymore?
No, I believe it is still set as if they are baby. I think it's just a reboot. It's not like a sequel.
Okay, now I
Yeah.
can see why people would get mad.
It's just
because they're just like,
updated
you're ruining my
CGI.
You're ruining my nostalgia. But hey, whatever. Just then stick
Yeah.
with what you like. If that's
Yeah,
what you
watch
like.
the old stuff.
Yeah, watch the old stuff if that's what you
People
like.
are also up in arms about there's a gay character in the new Cruella Disney movie.
What's wrong with that?
Same thing of you're adding these characters and making them gay when they weren't gay in the original. It's dumb.
Which one of the characters in the? New-
I haven't seen the new Cruella, so I don't know.
yeah, the whole
exactly
thing
who
is
it was.
like
I just
flipped
saw a
on its
headline
head.
of
So
that.
why are you even worried about
Exactly.
it? The whole
They're
thing is
doing a
different.
very Maleficent thing where they're making you kind of empathize
Yeah.
with the villain.
the anti-hero kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
People don't like change, and also people are like, "Oh, you're injecting this; it doesn't need this, and you're putting it in there. Why? It's like you're forcing it on. But
if it's-
they're also looking at it with their own feelings
Right.
of like they weren't exposed to it, so it's weird to them. It's not weird to the kids because guess what? They're being exposed to it. And like I said, I saw it with my own eyes, like because it shocked me out because I wasn't prepared for it. I was like, "Oh, this is this," and then I'm like, "Well, I wonder what my sons are gonna think."
Brock's comment in the Twitch chat
Yeah,
room is
good point.
fantastic. He says, and I quote, "Wait, this lady wants to murder puppies, and that's fine, but there's a gay person?"
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you get mad about.
So
plus it makes sense because if it were, I don't know anything about the movie, but I'm just as a writer, I would imagine. I'm talking about myself here and being creative. I'd be like, well, fashion world or something.
Right,
Well,
right.
Sorry, you're gonna have some gay people in there because it's the fashion world. Sorry.
I did show Max and Tommy the original Rugrats. I don't know what
It's
is it on?
It was a Nickelodeon.
It was
thing,
Nickelodeon, yeah.
And is that on? Who owns Nickelodeon now?
Nickelodeon.
No, but I'm saying like someone has a rights to it, like a Hulu or like
It's on
right,
Hulu.
right.
It's on
Probably
Hulu.
Hulu,
Okay,
yeah.
so I clicked on it. I was like, oh, Rugrats. I remember this. When did Rugrats come out? By the way, was it? Because I remember watching it, but
90s.
I was
For sure, 90s.
It's definitely
91.
It's in that whole
Okay.
like
So I was
Doug.
9.
There was
Yeah.
like Doug, Rugrats. What was the one where they were in Hawaii? They were surfer kids, skateboard kids.
Again, I didn't have cable until I was in 8th grade.
God,
so
there was one that was like, and the
Doug,
guy was like a
Rugrats.
Polynesian man that owned a smoothie restaurant.
Someone saying Rocket Power?
Rocket Power. Yeah, dude,
I don't
Rocket
remember
Power
that.
is where it's at. Yeah, they were like skateboard kids and surfer kids. And then they had the big Polynesian man. They'd own the smoothie place or whatever. You talk like that.
Then I like
cool. It's
Darkwing
really cool.
Duck and is it Jungle Tales?
Oh, you mean Tailspin?
Tailspin?
Tailspin.
And that whole thing-
Chippendales Rescue
What is that?
Rangers.
That's Disney, right?
That's
Yes.
all Disney.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. That's
Oh,
in
we
my
had Cat
wheelhouse.
Dog. There was Cat Dog. There was Rocco's Modern Life.
Anyway, the Rugrats cartoon kind of confused Max and Tommy because of the art and the way that
That's what I'm saying.
it's
The squiggle art, I love it.
They
it's
stared
very
at it, but-
creative, but it's weird.
and it's slow.
yeah,
like
it's slow paced.
how slow the cartoons were back in the 90s compared to now is completely different. Like now,
They have full discussions. Like they have like dialogue.
Oh,
where he's
yeah.
like,
We gotta get out of this baby pen and go over there and steal that Reptar bar.
and I'm like, oh my
God.
god, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
Hurry up, Tommy.
dude,
Jeez.
we're ADD now because
That was a pretty decent Tommy.
like
I think.
my sons are watching it, and even me, I'm like, get to the point. Like,
Yeah.
what is this about? Like,
then they-
and then they do like breaks in the middle, like, doo, 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 and the guys just, and it's like, come on,
yeah, why did you just
so
get the
slow.
goddamn Reptar bar?
Yeah, like nothing happened. We're like, where's the apex of this episode? And
You're
it's like,
right.
It's slow as
The
hell.
pacing is really, really slow. You know what I do think holds up though that I watched was Doug. Doug is good.
I did
forgot
watch Doug because they ended up showing that on like Saturday mornings on ABC. That's the only reason I got to watch Doug. I did like Doug.
What was Doug about?
Doug was just
Just a kid in school, like middle school, right?
Doug is very much, yeah, Doug,
Had a crush on Patty Mayonnaise.
yeah, who ended up
Roger
being in,
was the bully.
Patty Mayonnaise is in Orange is the New Black. She's one of the characters in that. The voice actress.
Oh, okay.
She's in Orange is the New Black. She
She has that Patty Mayonnaise voice.
you know,
Okay,
like
yeah,
that weird
yeah, yeah.
voice. Like she has a very unique voice. And when you hear her in Orange is the New Black, that's why I can't watch that show anymore. As soon as they put that Patty Mayonnaise character in Orange is the New Black, I'm watching with my wife. I'm seeing this lady. I'm like, well, that's Patty Mayonnaise. I can't watch this. Because seriously, it ruined the show for me because Doug was a show that I liked. You had Roger the Bully. It was like a quintessential, very unoriginal, wholesome tale, But it, for whatever reason, it
Quail
was,
Man.
Yeah, Quail Man.
Pork chop.
Yeah, Pork Chop
The
the
Beats.
dog. The Beats. Yeah, it had like...
That was a good dude.
And then what was his best friend's name? Roger?
No, Roger was the bully.
Roger was the bully. And then who?
Skeeter.
Skeeter. He'd go like beep, beep, or he'd make like a noise.
There's so much out there. My son's,
It's all gonna get remade too.
Yeah.
but it's like I don't even know why they're doing it because
For us.
Is
For
it
90s kids. Yeah.
Is it for us?
Yeah.
It seems. Can they make enough money off adults that want to watch cartoons?
They'll do 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah,
Call it
yeah.
a day.
I guess
Put it
it-
on one of these, like a Paramount that's just coming out, just for nostalgia for people to sign up.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're buying content. It's if maybe it's cheap to produce or whatever,
Yeah.
and they. It seems like my sons can't ever get through a complete cartoon, or like it doesn't keep their interest because they're constantly being
Even
distracted.
new ones they're not into?
No, because there's so much to choose from that they always just go back to their go-to, which is YouTube. That's what they really want. Or if they're watching cartoons, they'll just throw on whatever to like for when they're eating breakfast, and it'll just be they're not interested into like, oh, what happens next, or like we were watching these Doug episodes and these Rugrat. It was the only thing out, so it was like, oh, a new episode. It was like whoa, a new one. There's unlimited new stuff. There's too much.
Something happened yesterday, and maybe this will bleed over to the Friday Free Show that we do eventually. But Maisie wanted to play. She has been mentioning to me Roblox.
My sons,
Roblox.
No, they want it.
Roblox. We want Roblox. And yeah, it's infectious. Your kids do it. My kid is doing it.
They don't have it for Nintendo.
Right. So they have it on Xbox. So I go and I we'll check it out. So she's sitting with me yesterday, and we go to Roblox, and it's free on my Game Pass. I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. I don't have to spend any money. Roblox, let's get it. Yeah. So we get it. We start playing it a little bit, and she's like, it's not good. I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it's open source because it seems like there are a bunch of little games written for it that other people write. I don't fully understand it. I'm like dumb old man. But then she said the thing that hurt my heart. She's like, you know what? I don't really want to play Roblox. Let's just watch videos of people playing Roblox. And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We can either play Roblox and see what it is, but I'm not going to sit here and watch somebody else play it when we could be playing it. That does not compute. I know you've struggled with this.
Yeah.
Not doing that.
Now,
that is a big who's not porking on that.
And my sons always go back to Minecraft, and now that I'm watching, they got really good at building fast. Like
they're practicing.
Over this much time of practice,
they got reps in, man.
So they'll build like fast houses and stuff, and they'll always go back to that. Like they have probably 6 other games. They just like Minecraft because they're building different places, and
it's
then
endless too.
They'll move on to a different a jungle area, and they'll be like, I'm gonna build a tree place, then move on. And I'm like, it doesn't seem that bad because at least there's a creativity of building things, right?
Correct. Yeah,
that's something.
Yeah,
like, I'm looking
okay
at
this
the
was garbage. And the one game Maisie wanted to play, they release a shark. And then you're on a boat, and then you got a machine gun, and you're shooting at the shark.
I don't know what is
and
that.
Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I wish they played that.
That's what she wanted to play. We played it. But,
machine gun shark?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then the shark eats you, and then you become the shark.
Okay.
And then you got to eat the other people.
All right.
That's pretty good.
What is that? Where's that at?
That's Roblox.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He tuned out.
He
also has ADD like his children.
I thought that was a different game.
He moved on to different content.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. It's called Maneater. Thank you. Ghost of Manu Bull must be playing this game. That's for babies, Ghost. What are you doing playing that? That's for babies. My daughter's playing that yesterday.
So is Roblox?
Roadblock is a G.I. Joe character, and he's the one that goes, how about a body massage?
Is it just a bunch of different games in this universe?
It's like the universe is Roblox.
It's a game creation system.
It kind of
sucks. It allows users to program games and play games created by other users.
It kind of sucks.
That's kind of cool.
Not for me. Yeah, I'm not into it. And I'm damn sure not watching YouTube videos on like,
hey, what's up? It's me, Jerry. I'm playing Roblox.
Not watching that.
My sons will watch it.
I can't do it, man.
Every Friday, every weekend, it's the same kid playing, and they love it. They are hypnotized by it.
Yeah, it's magic.
It's the best thing.
Magic.
And it's just some young teen, basically telling you how he's playing the game, and it's the most.
She will not move.
The most entertaining content they've ever watched.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's some psychological thing that is unexplained.
It's like when Dave Chappelle wrote the 823, when he releasing that on vinyl now, the big one. Remember we put it out there, it was so poignant. She's riveted when she's staring at it.
Almost to the point where, like, you shouldn't like this so much. This is bad.
Yes.
This is why we push back. It's like, why do you like it so much?
There's no blinking.
Yeah. I wonder how long they could watch it. It's like a dog eating dog food. You just watch it until you pass out. Like, it's that mesmerizing. It's something.
There's a new game I downloaded yesterday called Horse Club, where I believe you're a young, rich girl and you own a stable of horses.
Okay.
That you can neglect by not feeding them.
All right.
At least that's what I plan on doing in my stable.
What game is that?
It's called Horse Club.
Okay.
It's not on Roblox. It's a freestanding game.
called Horse Club.
Yeah, and it's just little girls that own a stable, and they brush the horse. You can put a bow in its mane. You can whip its tail. You can ride it through a meadow.
You can have whatever you want. What do you want?
Yeah,
it's everything.
It's everything. Correct.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time. Welcome back to a Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler still on the lamb. I was going to say at large.
He wanders around Orlando running.
He's like a sweeper in a soccer team. He travels the entire length of the field.
So we got some guests in the studio.
We do indeed.
To talk about a big convention over the weekend, and I watched the video, and it's super unique because it's one of these conventions that happen that if you're into it, you're definitely going to want to go, but even if you're not, you can go just to look around because dude, bring the family because you can see all the different fish and coral, and it's entertaining just to walk through.
I'm a sucker for these, man. I love a convention.
And of course, sponsoring everything, Steven from Top Shelf Aquatics, our fish tank sponsor. How you doing, Steven?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good to see you, man. How you been?
And George and Sean are here from Aquashella, which is happening over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday.
I've heard of this before. When did we talk about this before? We talked about this when George was here, I think.
Briefly.
Briefly, because the name just rings a bell.
Yeah. And so, how you guys doing first?
I can't complain, man. It's been a crazy year with COVID, and
Yep.
Now that I think COVID's gone in Florida.
Oh yeah, we're open,
no
baby.
Yeah, we never had it. We never had it.
It's like Vegas. We just got back from Vegas. It was insane. Like,
I heard that basically it went from like deserted to
like
back to
flip the
100%,
switch.
and now it's busier than ever.
yeah,
right?
I couldn't move in Vegas. When were we there?
It was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it just was like, I think I saw the most visited place for Memorial Day weekend.
And that's a little rattle. It was for me, like going out for the first time was a little.
yeah.
It's super weird, you know.
Very
Like it
weird.
was, you know. I'm like,
Yeah, you still get looks if you don't have a mask on if you're vaccinated. I'm like,
well, I mean,
Yeah.
and then
Oh, it's all over the place, and also
I just stay at all that. I just
people were like, all right, don't go out, and then packed. Like, so there's no easing into it. It's like like an old man into a bath. It's 0 to 110 is bigger than before.
like an ice plunge.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
Right
it's
in
shocking.
there.
Okay, but let's talk about Aquashella because and how many people do you estimate come to this? Like, how did this start? I know we talked about this before a little bit, but what's going on this year and is bigger and better than ever, right?
Yeah, so this is our, not counting COVID year, our third year doing these events?
This is our fourth show.
Yeah, our fourth total show. So we started in Chicago, and then
Okay.
which is my hometown. Then we expanded to Dallas, which is Sean's hometown, the other co-founder. And then we were like, hey, we want to do this in Florida because Florida is sort of the epicenter of everything, marine, the underwater
Yeah, you
world.
told us that last time you were here, and we were
Yeah.
like, what? And then I started. It was funny because then you said now you'll start to notice. Like around, and it's true. I start to see little shops
Aquarium
and bigger
shops,
shops. Yeah, it's funny how it took you to like tell me, and now I'm like, oh, I see them everywhere now. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. So I mean, we always wanted to come here, and once we kind of conquered our hometowns, we were like, okay, this third convention should definitely be in Orlando. It's Central Florida. It's easily accessible to as many hobbyists as possible, and it's just really the perfect place to host what is going to be the largest aquarium event in North America.
And tell us about the art component, because there's an art component to this as well. Like, obviously, if you're into the hobby, I guess the recreation of owning fish tanks and saltwater tanks, freshwater, coral, that's a huge part of it. As Steven's told us, farming the coral and owning that is like some way bigger than the fish, right?
Yeah. So when we started the convention, we wanted to figure out how can we take our hobby, which we're so passionate about, and we find, so interesting, all the different corals and fish, the plants, and the tanks and setups. How do we make this interesting, entertaining, and accessible for the general public? How do we get more people interested in the hobby to learn about whether it's just keeping fish, which it can lead into all sorts of different directions, but the idea is, could lead into something like conservation, just appreciation for the natural world. So there's so many different reasons why we want people to get into keeping aquariums. But the idea was, how do we capture that attention? And so what we did was we brought these insane aquatic themed art installations, and that became part of the event. And then we sort of turned it from what we thought was like a boring aquarium convention, and we turned it into a really interesting and amazing aquarium festival. And so this is like it's like includes so many more unique aspects than just basically like a trade show floor.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be like a farmer's market. You know, when you imagine you go to that Saturday morning farmer's market, there's booth after booth after booth.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be like a festival, and you walk through like this UV blacklit room with all this aquarium featured art.
Yeah,
around.
like upgraded.
Well, let's talk about that, because I saw in the video, like, everybody.
Tom only buys his fish at farmers market. By the way. And I tell it's weird. He'll go there, he'll get the kettle corn, he'll get the fish, and he takes them back to his car and puts them in the heat. I say, don't do that.
You
Don't
can't
do
put
that.
goldfish in salt
You
water.
can't do
so-
that, man. You can't do that.
Everybody who goes gets UV glasses, so when they walk through, you could see the coral and everything pop
that's
out.
cool.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so every ticket comes with these pair of glasses, which are they were made originally for aquarium hobbyists to be able to see their tanks better, because as you know, the aquarium in your studio, it's got that blue light, and so when corals fluoresce their crazy colors under those lights, if you put on these glasses, you see just these insanely beautiful colors that you wouldn't have otherwise seen. So you get a pair of those, and all of the artwork is done with UV paint.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's a really cool thing, is basically the art exhibits are mimicking the coral, how the coral works in the ocean.
So this is something too, like I was talking to you guys before, like if you did want to bring your family and you didn't have a fish tank and you weren't into this hobby, but you just wanted to walk around a super cool exhibit.
It's an
and see-
experience, sure.
Yeah, it's more of an experience than, let's say, like in Vegas, me and Daniel went to, what was that giant technology expo with podcasts?
Yeah, I don't know.
You
what
walk through some drones,
CES
some microphones, like a podcast
Yeah.
section. You're like, all right.
It was pretty boring.
And well, speaking of that, and Stephen, maybe you could speak to this. So this is not just like you coming and setting up your 10 by 10 promotional tent and your table and your tablecloth and your giveaways, and then you sit down in your chair. Like, you have to set up gigantic aquariums, and then we know through, like, even
How long
owning
does that
one.
take? My God.
But like,
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's
like,
a lot
but
of
there's
work.
acclimation that the fish have to go to. Like,
They
moving.
have like really big aquariums they're bringing out, like different manufacturers that are setting up like full size, like 200-300 gallon aquariums. I mean, yeah.
How long does that take? Like,
They have pretty much a day to do it.
so they have to put everything and set it up in a day's time.
yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, and then they have about 6 hours to break it all down. It's exhausting.
Oh man.
Are you able to do that? Like, you know, can you have fish there? Is like,
Yeah.
you just have to know what you're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, you surely want to be a professional if you're going to do something like that. And everybody that comes to Aquashella, if they had a booth, they pretty
course.
much own a shop like Steve. And,
Sure.
And they know what they're doing. They know how to transport the fish. It's all done really safe.
We'll have like 12 people pretty much just for our booth.
Gotcha.
Setting up.
Setting up everything and breaking
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this isn't like one of our events. You stop by, get a sticker.
Yeah.
I put one flag out.
Can you, like, if you're into the hobby, can you purchase coral and other things like any other expo?
Oh yeah, 100%. So there's over 100 saltwater and freshwater vendors. So and we have a vendor for almost every little niche in the hobby. So there's all sorts of. That's the cool thing about the aquarium hobby is you have all these like weird subsections. Like there's discus, and then flower horns, and then clownfish, and then koi, and then monster exotic fish from the Amazon, and then you have your saltwater fish, which are like from reefs, coral
There's
reefs.
some people that just specialize in snails.
There are
Just snails.
We call Sean Snail.
Sean's-
It was literally, the whole thing is just sea snails.
Can you believe it? It's crazy.
What's the most expensive sea snail you can get? Like a rarest, because I want that.
There are some really expensive snails that.
Yeah, my wife's an expensive snail. I'm sorry. You know what? I'll leave.
So a couple things. One, have you guys tried, because obviously being YouTube and into YouTube, with the popularity, we were talking about it, the Logan Paul fight and the Mayweather, it seems like
Oh, you should fight a snail.
when you
We've had George.
oh my
fight a
God,
mantis
snail
shrimp.
fights.
Snail fights, man. I'm telling you.
I did a video where I fought a mantis shrimp because they have like
Oh, yeah, it
the
was really
world's
good.
fastest and strongest punch.
Well, how'd you do with like?
I got in a ring with a mantis shrimp.
He did.
You did.
You shrink him down, green screen him.
like
Yes.
CGI?
No,
No.
I set up an aquarium in a boxing ring. The owners of the ring were like totally confused, and I said, hey, I want to box this mantis shrimp. And so I basically then I don't know how else I boxed it.
It was kind of like a Mayweather fight. They just kind of nobody touched anybody.
Walk around for 8 rounds and collect a lot of viewers. Yeah, I like the idea.
Exactly.
It's
It was
legalized
gold.
robbery.
I was straight up squash a mantis shrimp.
I have an
easily hundreds
allergy.
of
I
mantis-
can't. If I touch him, I'll probably poof up.
But speaking of that, I was thinking like, do those like, is there business into getting those guys like bigger YouTube stars into having aquarium? Like, does Logan Paul or Jake Paul have a giant saltwater aquarium?
No, but
Believe it or not, there are a lot of influencers with aquariums, but there's also I specifically do aquariums on YouTube, and there's a lot of other creators in the niche. So one of the ways we were able to make this event so big so fast was by kind of leveraging a lot of my connections in the YouTube world and getting a lot of creators to come. So I mean, we have over, I think it's, I don't know, it's something crazy, between 30 plus creators, many of which have hundreds of thousands, some millions of subscribers,
And they're all promoting it.
yeah, they're all coming. They're doing meet and greets. So that's a big aspect to the festival as well, is you get to meet your favorite creators.
Yeah, it's turned into a bit of a Comic-Con type thing where you go to Comic-Con, you go and meet your favorite, comic artists, and we have that too aspect at Aquashella. You'll go and you'll stand in line to meet your favorite aquarium YouTuber.
Yeah, it makes sense,
awesome.
right? Like, as that's what's promoting the sport, through the hobby.
Well, you were thinking shrimp boxing, but I know.
And some of the YouTube guys are not like, they don't do aquariums at all, right? So me and George just got back from Vegas. Graham Stevens, I don't know if you know who that is, the finance guy.
Yeah.
So we spent kind of the weekend with him. He's got a saltwater tank, and he's doing like all kinds of stuff on there about his saltwater tank. And then we have another guy that is coming to the shop today that has 2 million subscribers and to do videos. Paul Cafaro. So it's even like people that don't have aquarium YouTube channels that are kind of getting into this as well, which is kind of cool.
It always surprises me how many people are into the hobby. Like, it's mind blowing. I mean, Logan Paul does have a fish tank, and there's a lot of those even bigger YouTubers that do have them because people love them. It's like a dog or a cat. I think fish tanks, aquariums are like the third most kept pet. So it's up there. There's tons and tons of people in the hobby.
Also a status symbol, especially like saltwater tanks, right? Like if you got a saltwater tank, it means all right, either you're spending a bunch of time or money into it, like one or the other. But there's no way around it, right? Like so if you have that, everybody's like, oh, you got a saltwater tank.
I will tell you, it's almost better than having a dog or a cat. I mean, it's the piece of the ocean in your living room, and if you sell aquariums, so Stephen will be able to speak to this, you're your aquarium client's favorite person in the world. So I sold aquariums for 6 years, and I made hundreds of friends where these big executives were like, no, you're my man. You're taking care of this aquarium.
Once you're the guy who's taking care of their tank, they're your best friend.
It's not really
and they don't want anyone else to touch it besides that person.
Because they know it.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
It's their pet.
It's intimate, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
So let me ask you guys this. My Uncle Randy used to tell me, he's like, man, you got to go to the boat show. The last day, the last 5 hours at the boat show, they don't want to take them back. So you go there with cash and you offer them cash.
Exactly.
And they'll
I'm standing out back with an 18-wheeler and an above-ground pool. Give me all the fish.
Because they don't want to take them back. It's more of a hassle. So they'll give it to you cash. And I'm like, oh, I don't know
Now,
about
there
that.
is some
Like,
truth
they
to
don't
that.
want to take it back.
Well,
They're just going to sell it to me for $5,000 cheaper.
There's some truth at the Surf Expo,
but
I don't think that it's the same for fish.
Yeah.
No, it's actually it is.
No,
Unless you're in your company's in this city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like for us, it's like no.
Yeah.
But if I'm in
course,
New York or if I'm in like Chicago or Texas, and
you'd rather sell.
I'm like, I don't want to pay for that freight for this stuff to come back. So there could be some truth to that for
That's
sure.
interesting.
But the flip side of it is these are rare pieces of coral.
Yeah.
And they're one of a kind. And so if you wait, it's going to get bought.
Gone,
and all
sure.
you're going to
Yeah.
have is the leftover stuff to buy that stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Crazy.
Let me ask you this question because I'm into plants too, and in the plant world, like having like a grandiose, expensive plants is like a status symbol. Like, oh my God, look at your monstera. Look how big it is or whatever. And again, it's like, oh, look how much you took care of it, and like
but time spent.
But some rich people, they're just like rather buy a gigantic 10-foot super expensive plant than take care of it for 20 years. So it's the same thing with like coral, because you can grow coral. And if someone has like a super nice coral piece in their tank, it's either they grew it from small or they purchased it for tens of thousands of dollars. So there are a lot of rich guys that just come in and buy real nice pieces that other people sell that they've grown like for the past 10 years.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
What's the biggest price coral you've seen go for? Like the biggest piece?
Well, maybe not. In coral's a little bit different. It doesn't have to be necessarily big.
Okay.
But I think there was
Rare.
I think at Aquashella in Texas,
Sold at $8,000.
$8,000 anemone sold to actually one of my friends.
Really?
So and like it made it across, and I'm like, "Hey, Sean, did you buy this?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like,
How big is that thing? Like,
it was like this big, but it's like it's a super rare species. It's probably 10, 12 inches, I think. And he paid $8,000 for it, and
My
it
God.
made it around the whole like hobby. Like,
And when you purchase something like that, obviously it comes in water, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then like you have to be very
I'm glad
careful.
it doesn't come in a manila envelope.
How?
you
I
know,
mean,
like-
could you kill him?
We don't got much
Could you
time.
mess
That
up
would be
and
like,
kill
what do I
him?
do?
Like that would be
Putting
my
olive
worry.
oil on it.
yeah,
I'm
there's
just
definitely
dousing it.
stress on that.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily it's made it. He's now has probably like 8 of them, so it was actually a good investment for him.
Right, because now it's
And will it appreciate
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
as it grows? And how old can an anemone?
Well, they just keep splitting and
yeah.
reproducing.
Okay.
It's it could be a very good investment because I know Steven's had some friends that
Yeah.
they make a lot of money off of just letting their coral grow and then cutting it.
Yeah,
and
this is the
selling
same
it.
guy that like sells us $100,000 a year in coral out of his tank at home.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's like the most rare piece of coral right now that's the hottest? Because I'm sure like every year,
And I like
people
how
are
they
into-
have like weed names.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Is
Like,
there something?
This is OG Skunky Stripey 5000. I'm like,
Is
yeah,
there
it is.
something that
Yes,
like
it is.
real like enthusiasts are going to be looking for? Because I know another thing, like people want to get there early because they want to get the rare stuff fast, right? Like before someone else buys it.
Yeah, I mean, there's rare stuff on fresh and saltwater, but yeah, I mean, there's every year there's something different. I mean, there's probably 10 or 15 specific.
I think
things that are-
Steve kind of decides what the rare coral is going to be. So why don't you come up with a name? Just make up one. We'll
Yeah,
make it the popular
The
coral.
hit maker.
we could do that. The hit maker.
Yeah.
I like
no,
that.
Not a
call,
bad name.
Call it Blammer.
Okay, the Blammer.
Blammer.
All right. Yeah. I was gonna go like
White
way.
pig.
Okay. Yeah.
White pig.
The number 4.
The number 4.
Which is a white
Yeah.
number
You
1.
guys are
sorry.
not naming anything.
Well, there's you know what a number 1 is. You know what a number 2 is. A number 3 is a loose number 2.
No. Yeah. No, a number 3 is a loose 2. Yeah.
Loose 2 and a 4 is a white 1.
Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. Aquashella happening this Saturday and Sunday. What's the easiest way to get tickets?
Gaylord. Oh, it's Gaylord Palms too. by
Okay,
the way.
got
yeah.
Gaylord.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
a good spot.
Yeah.
You just go to aquashella.com.
Okay, aquashella.com.
It's in the chat room. If you're being extra lazy, just look for the link in our chat room and you can click on it.
And George, your YouTube again, just so people know.
My YouTube channel is CoralFish12g.
And you've got a YouTube as well, right?
No, I'm just a
okay.
regular guy.
Snail.
Okay.
He appears
fights.
on my channel
Gotcha.
as Sean Snails.
Gotcha, Sean Snail. You're the Snailman. I forgot
Yeah,
that.
If you need snails, he's your guy.
And of course, Top Shelf Aquatics,
Yes, sir.
location right here in Winter Park. Guys, thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
We'll be right back with more Corp time.
Jumping into the old voicemail bag. I'm doing it right now.
All right.
Not going to say who I am either.
No point.
There's no need to do it. Let's try This guy just kind of rambles, but it goes along with something that you bring up a lot because you're a planner. And you're a big idea guy. You like to have a 5-year, a 10-year. You know, if you can get 5,
Thought
you
he
get
was
10.
the no plan van.
No, you know, he is in his own
Personal life.
life. But when it comes to business life, Tom's more, I think, like this guy.
Hey guys, I just got a question for you because I was thinking about something Tom said on the show the other day. But basically, have you guys thought about, where you guys might be in 10, 15, or 20 years from?
You brought that up just last week.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself still doing the show in 15 years? I know 20 years seems, that might be a little bit far, but anyway, I'm about 10 years ahead of Tom in the fact that, I got 2 boys that are 10 years older than him, and a lot of stuff he says I've been through. And then just career-wise, I was just wondering if you guys think that, not to sound bad or whatever, but is this sustainable, or do you see it evolving into something else? Do you see Tom?
Is it sustainable? We never thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is sustainable.
Well, it's interesting because I have put a lot of thought into that recently.
He goes on for about 3 more minutes.
Yeah, I get that. I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't want to be mean.
What's interesting is I put a lot of thought into, like, going back to in the break we were talking to, like, these social media people and YouTubers and, like, how long is their career? How long can it last? There's no case study or anything or really examples of this independent media like having what's the lifespan of it.
I like to think of our podcast as a lot like vaping. It's good right now, and we don't know what it'll do to our lungs later.
And it really, we can never be fired, right? So that's a unique thing that's never happened in the.
I mean, I guess I could work on some sort of odd scenario where I start like selling off my percentages of the company to Samantha and Butler.
Yeah.
And then they use that in a weird way with the control that our wives have to leverage you out later.
I mean, one of us going crazy, that's a percentage chance.
Do you know that the odds on that changed? It used to be that I was the leader of the one going crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's flipped completely. Now it's you.
Okay, the loose cannon.
You're going to be the one that, we come in and you're laying on the ground dead.
So it's really, since we can't be fired for like bad ratings or whatever the hell that is.
Can be canceled though.
No, you can't really, because being canceled really means you've been fired.
Yeah, it's like they put pressure on a company and then you're exited.
Well, I mean, if the BDMs decide to cancel you guys and no longer pay their subscriptions.
Yeah, like if you did something entirely terrible, like I think there is a scenario where I mistreat my family so bad that everybody turns their back on everyone.
True, but we'll bring others in. You gotta remember, there's bad people.
You gotta pivot your audience.
Yeah, you have to pivot. So there will be some people that are like, I like the way he mistreated his family.
I'm into it. Yeah.
There's something for everybody.
Literally,
there is a lot of truth to what he's saying.
Dude, crazy George Zimmerman was getting money off of nutcases buying his garbage art. You know what I'm saying? Like, that guy was making money. I mean, so I'm just saying that there's a way to do it. The internet is the way. So anyway, back to our long-term plan. So if you look at it, all right, so 10 years, right? In 10 years,
I will be exactly 55 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be 49. So
Samantha Ann, how old were you?
45.
45.
So
and Butler will no longer be with the company.
No, never make it that way.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Or be the CEO.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, he could be in charge.
So
we could all be working for Redcoat Media.
So you start looking at. I do think that we'll start producing less podcasts because I think we do too much audio podcast content.
Yeah.
And we'll start diversifying our content into other avenues or whatever.
OnlyFans.
So whatever it is, I don't know. I'm leaving it open.
Porno, straight porno.
We're open, baby.
So, and we'll probably start doing that. And as far as, but I can't see any reason to stop the company or like I don't have a plan as far as like, oh, we'll do it for 10 years and then we'll stop.
Yeah.
I imagine just like everything and just like everybody does, people start coming into a landing. So you start pulling back stuff. So you start doing less and less. And I imagine in 10, 15 years, me and Daniel will not want to put in an insane amount of work every week. And you start trying to like, all right, maybe we'll do half amount, half this amazing or something like that. But I don't see us stopping the show. There's
forever until you both are dead.
No.
Well, it will end with like more than likely. And I think the podcast doctor. Is that our buddy Phil Frau?
I think so.
He changed his name. He said something like, more than likely the ending of this show will more than likely be the passing of one of us.
Well, no. I mean, unless we die early, I could see. But there's going to be a retirement.
That would be me, I think, because I'm the one that drinks the Rise energy drinks. I'm the one heart disease in the family, heavily.
Also, it seems,
and would you continue with Butler and Sam?
What?
And just move Sam to this seat?
Like, what are you talking about?
If I died.
In 10 years or
tomorrow?
No,
tomorrow.
I thought about that.
Tomorrow?
If you
died.
Well,
not tomorrow. It'd be unfortunate because I'm about to go on vacation.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
If you die, one of us died, I'd still say, I'll tell you the plan. You want to hear my plan for you guys? I'll tell Samantha so she does
tell
it.
me.
Daniel don't want to do it, but let me tell you because this will work.
I would not do it without him, and he knows that.
You need to. So I died tomorrow in some car accident, most likely.
Don't say car accident.
That's how.
Stop texting and driving.
Yeah, well, he doesn't wear a seatbelt either.
Well,
he says he can't text and drive.
He needs to wear a helmet.
I'm just
he
saying.
says that. He says I can't text and drive when I wear my seatbelt.
Statistically, at my age and my health, car accident will probably get me
or that devil boat.
Boating.
Boat's the safest thing he does.
Yeah. I mean, there's something.
Prostate.
He'll cook himself under that.
Prostate cancer.
So
I bet the chestnut in there is huge.
I die. So all Daniel has to do is literally just hire a person to take my place. Obviously, you could change the branding over time and whatever.
Who do you
I don't think
hire,
people care.
Dan? Who do you have chemistry with?
Well, here's the thing: you could pay them a good amount of money because
there's only one guy, Buckethead.
You'll have the budget. No,
I'm out.
No, I don't know who.
But you could hire a talented talk radio personality to fill the spot and pay them a salary. And
I wouldn't do it.
And you can continue the show. It's just who you hire. And then,
I don't think I'd be able to do it. I think I'd have to quit. And then you guys could, figure out something you want to do, and I'll just fade into the sunset.
Well, you're too young to stop working.
No,
it's not that
I want to
hard.
go in a completely different direction.
But why quit?
Because thinking about doing that makes me too sad, and every day I'll be thinking about my friend Tom, and my heart won't be in it.
Well, I died because I did something stupid,
and I won't. It doesn't
I
matter.
was out on the boat.
It doesn't matter.
I was
I'm not
with
the
Super
type,
Dave.
I'm not the
I
type,
was with Super Dave and with the thongers.
I'm not the type
cheating on my wife.
Oh my God!
And I was doing coke.
Yeah. Well,
that's a heart attack.
Then I'm
for
just
sure.
happy you finally had some fun.
That's true. At least he died happy.
And then I'll leave, and then I'll politely ask Super Dave if he'll take the show over with Sam and Butler. And it'll be the Supa and Sam show with Butler.
That'd be a terrible show.
Oh, it'd be pretty good.
I'll listen to that show.
You guys both like to rock.
I'm just saying you could.
Don't say I like to rock.
You always are around here saying you like to rock. You're always throwing up devil horns.
I do have my Durst hat on. I'm feeling pretty rocky.
But to honestly answer the guy's question, I think it naturally tells you, right? Like, so what, since there's no one, we don't work for a company and they can't be like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't work here anymore. Then nature, when do you know you're going to die? When your fingers start turning black or whatever, you know what I'm
Mitch
saying?
McConnell.
Like, you're like, oh. You know what I'm
He's still kicking, buddy.
I'm just saying, when.
McConnell's still rocking.
You're like, it hurts to walk. I don't know.
It hurts to walk now. Does that mean I'm dying?
No, well, it really hurts. I'm just saying, you start getting tells. So, I'm guessing the life, everything has a lifespan.
Circle of life?
You're either growing or dying, right? Mm-hmm. Everything is like that. So, and then
I'm dying.
There's a plateau, and even in human life, you hit this plateau around 30, 40, and then, goes down or whatever. So I imagine in social media, podcasts, YouTube, they'll have the same lifespan, right? They'll have the new media, social media, whatever lifespan. We'll start seeing it down the line.
Well, you're already seeing these influencers pivot to other things, you know? I mean...
Yeah, and so they'll either naturally get disinterested in the content they're doing and pivot, and therefore lose a certain amount of audience, and it all just gets segmented out and spread apart. Or like everybody, you'll start losing subscribers and start losing advertisers over time.
Yeah.
Until a certain point where you're like, well, I'm making half of as I made in my Apex, right?
Yeah.
But that's still half. And you're still doing it. So then it's kind of like up to you. Like, I bet everybody is going to have to make a decision of when to quit. And
yeah,
and then whether or not
most people
the
don't
next
have
thing they want to do.
Most people don't get that decision. It's forced
but
on them.
Do you think this will probably be your job until you decide to retire, or do you think you'll change jobs?
It makes sense. This will be it because I've ruined myself. I can't work for anybody.
Yeah, it's kind of ruined for me now, and I did a lot of that.
I can't hold a normal job.
I don't think I can anymore.
Go into an office or whatever. I hate everything about that notion. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So it's like I don't want to go work for someone else, and I like working for myself, and I like doing this. And as long as we can keep doing this, now if like other things of this, like this could go, this could pivot into a different direction.
It will,
or to more different media or whatever it is. But this looks like my end game plan, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think so too. For me,
even though we're still sort of young, it's like if you look at 10 years from now, that's at the point where you're looking at that.
Well, I just want to strengthen this, so in another 10 years, we know where to go. Because I think we will be doing this for another 10.
Oh yeah.
There's
no
we're
reason
just strengthening this now. Let's move on to the next. No, you're good. Let's move on to the next one because we're circle talking here. Let's go to Izzy. He just walked in.
Hey, Tom and Dan, Sam, Travis, how's it going? Izzy here, or Chunkus Glorioso. You guys know that I've never been to a wedding, never been a part of a wedding, never been a part of a bachelor party, none of that. The only wedding that I went to was my sister's, and that was in Puerto Rico, and it was in the back of a house. It was a mansion, but nope, never been to a wedding or nothing. 35 years old. Ain't that something?
This guy's a unicorn, man.
Who's never been to a wedding?
I said the same thing to Sam.
Bizarre.
I said the same thing to Sam.
Like, he's family members? Nobody?
Well, sister. So technically he has been to a wedding, but...
It's weird that none of your friends in your 20s got... Because I've only
been to, 3 weddings maybe, I think?
Yeah, I've been to a ton of weddings.
Yeah. I've been to at least a dozen.
Yeah, me too.
Between all my friends, and I was the best man in 3 weddings, I think.
I'm finally going to be a part of a wedding with old Griffin Jess next year. I'll be her maid of honor.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
But I haven't ever been a part of a wedding before.
Is it a
wedding
cool
party.
wedding or is it a traditional wedding?
I think it's a bit of both.
A little bit of both?
It's weird because her and her old man seem like they've been married for 15 years.
Correct. Yeah.
No, they haven't. They met through the BDM page.
I know,
Yeah.
but it just seems like they're the perfect couple.
Yeah.
And it seems like...
It sets very well. When you look at them, you're like,
they've been married for a long time. I don't know. It's just like the fact that they're getting married
Well, there's
soon
a
is weird to
comfortable...
me.
They have a comfortable and kind of a cool dynamic with each other, you know? And they toss out nice, sweet things to say about each other, and that's cool. I like seeing stuff like that. It's inspiring to my own relationship. But Izzy, that is very... Izzy, the more you tell us, and the more you spend time in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomandDanLive, Izzy's actually in there right now, the more I realize you are a very unique man.
Is it you had never been invited, Izzy? Or...
Well, yeah, that would probably be it.
And
Right?
maybe he got invited, just
or maybe
couldn't
a
go.
lot of his friends aren't married, or they were married before he became friends with them. That's a thing, right?
I guess, yeah. I'm thinking I got a
Less and less
weirdo.
people are getting married.
Or also getting married later, too.
Or just eloping because they don't want to waste the money.
I got married pretty late.
Yeah.
You know, what was I, 32 or 4 when I got married or something like that? Yeah, I was late.
I was like 26, I think.
You know, I waited till I was, 38 to have a kid? 39?
Yeah. I
It's
think
late.
a lot of people are
So
doing
people
that.
are waiting later or not doing it at all.
But there are people way later than me. Like
Yeah.
I see people that have kids where like, especially since Maisie's in dance, and I'll see people that have kids, and I'm like, oh, you look at them, and you're like, oh, that's the grandpa. It's not. It's the dad.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Especially if the man's older and has got a younger wife, like you have a baby and
That's
you're
very
45.
prevalent. It's very prevalent. You see a lot of that.
Yeah. And then you're a 10-year-old, you're 55, and then it was fine, but
I just think you should
that's out
you
there.
should stay in the shadows.
hide yourself.
You'll hide yourself in the back. Wrap your face in bandages like Darkman.
So
and hide in the shadows. I don't want to see you. It's off-putting.
Are you going to be a bridesmaid?
Maid of honors.
Oh,
I already
yeah.
stated that.
It's all right.
You don't listen. It's fine.
Yeah.
So what are my duties? What do I need to do for Grift and Jesse's bachelorette party?
You got to poop in the
Let's
sink
pre-
like,
let's,
like that movie.
Oh God.
Well, you're in charge of her bachelorette party, right?
Yeah.
So you got to get to swinging ding dings.
Oh, I can get you. I think
Yeah, what
Cisco.
do you-
I still got
Cisco.
Cisco's
You got his
number.
number?
She wants it,
Yeah.
right? Or she wants to
She
dance.
might want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
She's
all
a
about-
partier.
Yeah, she partied.
I took her to like one of those Magic Mike shows for her birthday. We went to
yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
She's got
She's
whipped
not
cream
uptight.
towel
She's gonna
written
be like,
all over her face.
He grabbed me inappropriately.
Yeah, she'll be like,
Yeah, it's real uptight.
she'll be like, give me that ready whip,
Yeah.
and do a line right off the ding dong.
He grabbed me, and even I was saying, no, don't. He just forced himself on me.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
God,
Then he
I'm
changed
tight.
Hands up,
Then he
don't,
changed
don't
into a
motorboat.
Publix apron and walked across the street.
So I don't know where, is that mail review? I still get emails saying, please.
Guilt? It used to be called Guilt Mail
I don't know
Review,
that
right?
they're still doing
They don't
it.
send emails saying, please help us. You get
They
emails
send
from
me
a
an
mail
email that-
review saying, please help us.
I still
For
get
promotions?
texts. No, they say, please rate and review us. Please. They're saying, please.
What, they
and
want
never
a Yelp
do.
review from you?
No, they just want me to.
One star, too many ding dong.
They want me to rate and review them, and I never
Well,
do
you've
it.
never been there. How
Rock
do you,
Hard Review.
Rock,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it still in town? I think Cisco's out of it now.
I don't know. I mean, there was a pandemic.
They have a
going
whole
on.
logo. He drew the logo on our old bathroom wall.
yeah.
It's like while I'm peeing in the old studio, it says Rock Hard Review.
Oh, there's another one called Hunkomania.
Yo, give me that hunkomania.
Okay, the last time they emailed me, this was February 3rd, 2020.
Oh, this is right.
Right before we shut down.
Yeah, oh my God, the pandemic got them all.
It says, please, Rock Hard Review.
Please rate our Corona
Oh, it's on
boners.
International Drive now.
Oh, okay, they
that's
moved
better.
it.
So
That's
it
a
may-
better.
it
That's
may-
a better move.
Oh, they stopped emailing me over a year ago, so that may have been it.
You think that's it?
A lot of email, like 70
Help,
emails.
help.
70 emails.
Oh my God.
Please rate us.
It's a 90-minute show. That's a long show.
Yeah. It's they do a very, very long musical numbers.
Do they do the white towel? No, they don't do it.
No. It's
Not on
very, this is
iDrive.
very this is very professional. This isn't the ones that
You need to get, okay.
the ones that you're talking about happen in underground European clubs in like Belarus.
You need to go to Daytona Shores.
Daytona.
And then you
Daytona
need to,
Shores.
and then you need to hire a male dancer on Craigslist.
No. Well, I'm already out on that.
Why?
I'm
Are you
not
telling
hiring
to
a
do the
stranger
Sam
off
or me?
Craigslist.
No, this is a thing.
Because you were looking
You
at
think
me.
my paranoid ass is going to call a stranger on Craigslist and hire them to come dance naked for us in some Daytona Shores hotel?
I mean, how many of you guys could overwhelm them?
You
I
could.
mean, it's just
How many
one
girls?
dude.
How many girls are
you're-
going to be at the party?
I don't know. I got to
Yeah.
see.
You and Jess
how
could
big her bridal
easily
party
beat
is.
up a stripper.
Jess could beat up
She's
one.
strapped,
You
so
could
we'll
hold
be
them.
good.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
grab
yeah.
a stripper. Yeah, just order a slight dude.
Yeah,
They
just
can
say you
Send a
want-
picture first.
just
say you
Slender
want-
Man will come and strip for us.
Say you want like Volusia County Rob Dyrdek skinny. You want
Nobody
that-
wants that.
Say you want him to look like an electrician.
Yeah.
They'll know what you mean.
And they don't have security because the male strippers, they're like, I'll take care of
I'm
myself.
tough.
Yeah. So he is fine. And then they come in. You could request the cop. That's a very
Too cliche.
popular.
I don't want to go.
No, the cop comes. He's like, I
Yeah.
heard a noise disturbance, and then they come.
You guys are gonna have to turn your panties down.
yeah. Then he starts dancing. And if you want him to, he'll blast you. Up against his
Yeah, he
Craigslist.
will.
He'll
He'll
do
For
definitely
an
what,
extra
do it.
fee.
He'll do whatever. Literally
Hands
whatever.
up, do shoot.
Whatever
Oh,
you
yeah.
want. Although
White bullets.
it doesn't work that well because of drugs. So that's one
Yeah.
thing. And he'll take some drugs to try to make it work, but it's like
What are you talking about? Working?
You know.
Oh,
yeah. It just
Well, I mean, it's
It's been
downstairs
Yeah,
gun.
it's Daytona, and
It's all well, yeah.
he's been on a bender.
Well, it was roofing all morning, so
yeah, it was roofing.
Wait, we got
hard
concrete
work.
mics stripping for us
well,
now.
hey, you would be.
Lack of vitamins. He had COVID twice.
yeah.
That's my
So-
His eyes are yellow jaundice a
His
little
pee
bit.
don't work.
Keep
well.
your aviators on.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to see your jaundice while you're whipping that thing
But
around.
he'll helicopter.
He
Yeah,
will
yeah.
helicopter.
And you
Right.
could do some shaming if you want. He'll do whatever for money. Like
Yeah.
you could stomp it or whatever.
Kick it.
Yeah.
It's like a bop it.
You could yell at him insults. You could slap him around. It doesn't matter. Like
Because he's very slight.
yeah. He'll take whatever. For the
At
money.
one point, he's like,
Hey, ease up.
He may before he leaves like do some panhandling too, which is awkward because
he may ask
he'll
you
be
to
like,
call him an Uber.
yeah. You have to Uber him out of there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
And you may have to have a decoy hotel room because he'll come back to rob you later.
Yeah, he will.
But
Good
if you're not there, then
You'll just hear him trying to slide a credit card on the
yeah.
door next to your room.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
could jump out and beat him up again.
Take
So-
my money back.
Yeah. That's a good bachelorette party, you know. You get some wiener
Little
straws
danger and
from Fairville.
Yeah.
Longer.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is I bet Jess would be all in. Sam, not even
Oh,
close.
yeah.
Not even close. What are you going to plan?
I don't know. I have to see what she wants to
You're
do.
going to do lame, aren't you? You're going to
I'll
do
do
like,
whatever she wants to do.
Don't do one of your lame-o, we're going on we're doing archery for Hunger Games
Yeah,
She's
tour.
not going to want to do
Or
that.
one of your Babyland General, one of your Meemaw.
That's my crap.
Yeah, she
I'm
does
going to do whatever
these-
she wants to do for her bachelorette party.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Like, what's the biggest
I got over a year to plan this. So.
Panama City Beach.
Yeah, Coachella.
I think you're naming all the old
When
places
did
that
you get
nobody
married?
parties anymore.
I know.
Burning Man.
Next December.
Burning Man.
2022.
Oh, you got time. So
Yeah,
next
I got
spring
time.
break, 2022.
You're going to have to help me plan this time.
2022.
Spring break is way too early to have a bachelorette party.
No, because you have it early just in case it gets too
Half
crazy.
a year early?
yeah, but it gets too
In
crazy.
case she cheats and they break up.
Well, then it gives them time to repair,
The damage, yeah.
The damage.
Everybody's saying Club La Vila.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What about
Club
a
La Vila.
destination and you go to like Indonesia?
Okay.
What kind of money bags do you think? You got to start paying me more if I'm taking her to Indonesia.
What is? So they can be enslaved and work?
Well, you can go to like Costa Rica. That's usually for
Only dudes go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, but I bet
don't think girls.
there's a girls like prostitution ring.
I don't think there
like
is.
a male prostitution
I don't know
ring.
that.
Girls go to Costa Rica to ride scooters and crash. Men go to Costa Rica
And for, like,
to
Instagram
to
photos.
cheat on their wives.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
but
just-
there's got it. Where's the girl destination?
You know where
No,
it supposedly is now is like Nashville.
or Nashville. Yeah, I was gonna say-
Nashville's like the #1 bachelorette destination right now, and I don't know why.
I was gonna say like Asheville, all those areas like your Tennessee, Carolina areas, even Georgia a little bit. Is like,
Oh my God, it's so quaint. These towns are so cool. They have little breweries.
you buy your big floppy hats and your tall boots, and you walk around
You
downtown.
walk around like some Southern belle.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to check out this brewery. Oh my God, they have a distillery.
Mimosas.
Oh my God, have you tried these tiny sausage sliders they
No.
have? Oh my God.
Griffin-
Everything is farm to table.
That's not how Grifton Jess is.
No,
she
I
wants
know.
a party.
Yeah, she wants to go to Daytona Beach and she wants to cheat on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
She wants to get one big
what if
ding dong before she goes.
What if
you
I
know,
just-
and hitches it up?
Hold on.
Yeah.
What if she just gets the Tom Van special?
Which is the
what is
lollipop?
that?
Well, then I'm going.
no, it's
If we're going back to lollipops,
you go to Daytona. I got the hookup.
go to Hooters.
I'll call Roop. He's got a buddy, a
Yeah.
hotelier.
hotelier.
Oh my God.
Friend.
Hotelier, great band,
Tom
by
goes,
the way.
Tom goes.
He's a hotelier.
We're gonna call him Hotelier.
You get a couple rooms at Daytona Beach.
Yeah, we get a couple at the White Elephant. Then
Okay.
we walk over to Hooters.
You go to Hooters.
We get
you
the 100 Wings Dom Perignon. Then we walk over to Lollipops
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
start getting at it.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you party and you spend all your money. They walk you to the ATM.
Yeah, they turn
right?
the lights on.
Yeah. Then you
You
leave.
look around, you're sad. Then you watch Tony Rage race a transvestite.
Yeah, then you
Or
pee
excuse me, a trans person,
Then you
person of trans.
pee the bed. At the end.
Then you run around naked.
Yeah.
Then,
Oh,
Sounds
the
terrible.
then Dustin, who works at West End, films you running around naked. Then
Oh,
you
he still got that.
Then
He
you
sent that to me.
threaten to kill him if he doesn't delete it. That's a true story.
Then
you steal a stop sign. Then you run around the parking lot in your underwear stealing stop signs.
I wet the bed on my friend Andres' feet. He had socks on. He's like, damn dog, you wet the bed.
Damn dog.
And somewhere there's a video of me crawling on all fours with my booty hole out.
Oh no.
That's a good time.
That's a good time.
Oh, bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Tom.
Dan.
EJ's here. EJ,
going on, guys?
Tell us about you throwing up after eating too much.
Yeah, and then we'll play your
So
bit.
I ate too much queso, and I went to go brush my teeth for the night before I went to bed, and I have a really sensitive gag reflex, so I would be not good for oral for men. But
why'd you have to say that?
Well, I'm just saying. So I brushed my teeth, and then anytime I have stuff in my stomach, it's going to come up. So I just puked a bunch of queso into the sink, and my wife was really mad at me for that, and I had to clean it up.
Oh, my God. Well, horrible way to start your segment.
How soon after you finished Tijuana Flats
It had
then
been
you go
in there
to bed?
a while. It had been in there a while, I feel like.
About an hour.
Okay.
An
What,
hour.
you eat it like 8:30 and you're in bed by 9:30?
Yeah. Like,
About that, yeah.
And then you're brushing your teeth and you're like...
that's not good, bro. Yeah.
And then you're like, uh-oh.
You shouldn't be
Yeah,
eating
exactly.
dinner at 8:30, like an hour
late.
before bed.
That's too late.
That's how you
You're
get...
an athlete.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I'm fat right now. That's one of them.
Mhm.
There you go.
Play is
Happy
intro.
now?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I am happy. Actually. I'm pretty happy.
Okay, well.
I am happy you're fat.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
Nerds. Nerds. Nerds.
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
It's Nerd Jock with Queso. What's going on, EJ?
Oh, what's going on? I feel a lot better though.
You got it all
especially 'cause-
out, right? I mean, I'm guessing that you got rid of all the... What else did you have? You didn't just have queso. What'd you get, a megawana?
No, I think I got the loaded nachos and chips.
Okay, I like nachos. I'm a nachos guy.
Yeah,
As your dinner is kind of like it seems.
it's an appetizer for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel a little trashy when I eat nachos for dinner, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy nachos a lot.
I mean, as you,
Every bite's a little bit different.
it's true. If you get a loaded nacho, I mean, it is like probably 2,800 calories.
Oh,
or
yeah.
you know,
Oh,
something.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, you don't eat the whole
Chicken,
thing.
yeah.
You don't eat the whole thing. You
Black
share it.
beans and yeah.
It just doesn't seem like a complete meal for whatever reason. Like it seems
Because
like
it's
an
sort of
appetizer.
spread out.
Yeah.
It's like Orlando. It's very spread out.
Yeah.
You know, you get a big old round platter of chips.
All right, EJ, what do you got first?
You know what? Let's start off, since I made you happy already, let's start with Smoking Jay Cutler. I was going to give this story to Samantha because it's kind of more her segment because it's about divorce. But because it's Smoking Jay Cutler, I had to bring it up because he used to be the Dolphins quarterback. And he was known for being lazy and smoking on the sidelines. Have you heard the story about this yet?
So I thought it was a joke. He when he came to the Dolphins of Smoking Jay Cutler, I thought there's some sort of there's this urban legend around him that he's a D-head, which I think is true because
It feels like it's checked out.
Oh, wait till you hear the story.
didn't his ex-wife accuse him of being a horrible monster? Not anything
just overall.
legally.
Just an overall monster man.
Just an overall D-head and treated her poorly and just was
Because
selfish.
It's possible for those people to not do anything so heinous that they've legally broken the law.
No, just
but
a D-head.
You're just a bad person.
Yeah.
Which and then the old don't care and the whole
And then all this-
nonchalant.
yeah.
He used to just be like, I don't know what I'm going to do, like a press
I don't
conference.
care.
Yeah. So what happened?
Okay, so he got a prenup before he married this woman. And what's her name? God, I lost it.
I love it. I love that every story you tell
Kristen
us
Cavallari.
has zero
Cavallari, yes.
details.
And Samantha's able to find it faster than
Yeah.
okay.
Well, he was going to give me this contact.
yeah.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Thank God he didn't give it to you. You would have never been able to find it.
Well, because he divorced his wife, and his wife said one of the reasons why they're getting divorced is because he was lazy. And he got a prenup with her. And so with the prenup, they decided to split the time with the kids. So that part's fine. But the bad thing is Jay Cutler wants half of her business that she started when they were married. and the name of the business is Uncommon James. So it's named after him, kind of, but it's a jewelry business.
Yeah, I remember reading about this thing. Yeah.
So now the prenup protects his money, but not hers?
Yeah. So basically, he's going, like, I think it's worth, like, half her business is worth $5 million is what he's going after.
Well, did he spend, because to start a business usually takes some capital, so
Yeah,
did
he invest?
Yeah, did he supply
I don't think
the
he
capital?
invested any money, but I think what happened was he had all the contacts, and because he was married to her, or the other way around, she was married to him, that's the only way she would have the contacts. So he's saying that because his contacts were the reason why your business became successful, I deserve half.
All right. Well, listen, when you enter into a marriage, it's a legal contract, and the courts hold that like a legal business contract.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
so whatever.
She signed something, right?
It's, it's really up to the court and how their business is split.
Is the story here whether or not morally he should be going after this? Is that the story?
Kind of, yeah. It kind of, because he's lazy and he's like, wait a minute, I deserve half your money, even though I've done nothing.
Well, I mean, like, hold on.
Well, that goes both ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like it does. So, like, you know, if you said that to her, and if it was the opposite, then people, they get, well, that's more common, I guess, right? Is like
Correct,
the wife
yeah.
takes half or whatever, but that's like commonality, and everybody knows that. You marry someone, it's a business contract, so
Yeah,
you're
and if there's
held to whatever contract you sign.
Yeah, and if there's a prenup involved and she signed it, then I'm sorry. On this one, I'm kind of like, well, I mean, I'm not siding with Jay, but I don't think his laziness really comes into play here. I mean, he was obviously not lazy enough to get her to sign a prenup.
Also, not lazy enough to make it as an NFL,
NFL quarterback.
quarterback.
I was gonna
which
bring that up.
Takes a lot of work. I don't know if you ever heard how hard that is that you do.
I don't think you just skate right in there.
Yeah, like maybe he was a lazy.
Yeah, but he's famous for that loaf play that he did when they were running the Wildcat at the Dolphins, and he's just standing on the side of the field in the wide receiver stands, and he's just like lounging kind of while he's on the side.
But that's because he didn't care, or he didn't want to go into, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't want to put the effort into trying to juke a wide receiver, even though, guess what? The wide receiver, even if Jay took off running, the wide receiver's not going to do nothing, right? Because
the quarterback that's covering him is like, you're not going to catch this.
Yeah, the cornerback is sorry.
it's not gonna happen.
The cornerback's not even going to run after him.
No.
Like, so Jay knew that, so he's like, he's a curmudgeon old man, right? So, like, he's like, screw this, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not even going to pretend to run a route or even move, because the quarterback knows.
Why pretend when you're not going to do it?
But the quarterback has to stand in front of me, and that's all my job is.
Correct.
Is having one man stand in front of me.
Yeah.
So one of these things, I did see a quote. Is it true that he moved to Montana or some BFE?
Yeah, I heard.
In the middle of nowhere.
And then he's like saying, "I'm no one bothers me. I'm here by myself." I'm like he basically said that he's like he's divorced. He's got no obligation to anybody.
He's just doing his thing,
and everybody leaves him alone out here, and that's what he likes.
That's kind of awesome.
He's just a angry
old cabin man.
That's what he wants to do. Yeah. He's a D-head.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Well, I mean, like I don't
his kids live in Nashville, right? With the ex-wife.
Well,
now?
they're more than welcome to come to Montana if they want me to yell at them. Is what he's saying.
Don't care.
You know
what part of don't care do you not understand?
I honestly don't think you should penalize people if they want to be left alone. Now, I agree with that. If you just want to be left alone, go be left alone. You know, I hate it. I hate it when people want to be left alone and people are like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with this guy?" Well, obviously, he wants to be left alone.
Do I need to say don't care because that's what he cares about?
Correct. Next story. What else you got?
Okay, next story. I sent a video to Sam early this morning, which I found, which is great, and I think you guys will love this player that he plays for the Virginia Cavaliers baseball team, and they're like heading into the College World Series. And this guy is Kenny Powers personified.
All right. Now, is he trying to be Kenny Powers?
No, I think some of it is really genuine. But at the end of the interview, they do ask about Kenny Powers, and he's aware of it. But I think this is how he naturally is, because you watch him play, he acts like Kenny Powers on the field. Like, he struck out the side one time, and he threw his glove into the stands, and then pretended like putting away his sword like a saber in in his thing on the side. I
Okay.
can't say it.
Like into
Oh
like
my
a
God.
sheath
I'm-
or a scabbard.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Here's a.
You know, you walk into a stadium, 8,000 people, they all want you to lose. But as long as you got your 26 guys ready to kick ass or kick butt, you're gonna be all right. Sorry, I sweared. I shouldn't have.
No,
sweared.
you're good, man. Let's go back to that last inning.
Big
ninth
baseball
inning. What are
dum-dum.
the emotions
Yeah.
like entering that inning?
Well, emotions are go in, win. I heard a fan offer free Dippin' Dots if I blew it, which
Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots with inflation is just unreal. So for a brief moment, I was like, damn, Dippin' Dots sound good. But also, I thought in the back of my head, we win today, we win tomorrow, or tonight. We're going to be here another day. That's more per diem. So that means I can buy my own Dippin' Dots and be a winner. So it's like,
Was he?
you know, I'm
Is this
Why
guy
is he out
on?
of breath? Yeah, he's
well,
on something, right?
He just finished the game. Like
Okay.
I think he's the closing pitcher. So it's like right after he gets done pitching, you got to go to the next segment because they ask him what he's afraid of.
go out there. I'm going to attack. I think 3 words every time I'm out there. The first one's a swear word, starts with F. The second word's attack. Third one's win. And I just repeat that to myself. Unless, you know, there's a breach in the system and I walk a guy and I got to tell myself I'm a few different things that isn't a winner. I might break that, but then I get right back on it. Just this attack win, you know? And
Steve,
it's really easy pitching when you got a defense like ours, I tell you.
Somebody in the Twitch chat room says that they think he sounds nervous, and I agree.
He does sound nervous.
He's a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
You can hear him kind of shaking a little
He's
bit.
not used to this.
Yeah, he's not,
yeah.
but
He's got an anxiety voice.
Yeah.
Like a nervous voice.
Yeah.
So easy when they're
Yeah.
behind you. As long as you keep it in the yard, you got a chance, which is pretty cool.
does anything make you nervous?
Caves.
A cave?
He said caves.
Caves. He said caves.
I like
That's
him.
pretty
Yeah,
funny.
I like this guy. This guy's cool.
I think he knows.
Because they didn't specify if it made him nervous in baseball. They just said, does anything make you nervous? So
yeah.
I'm with him, caves.
Yeah, caves make me nervous
This-
too. I once did
Yeah.
the dive at Devil's Den, and it was a little scary.
This guy, I think he knows what he's doing.
He does.
And I think he's just fast. Like he's
quick.
good. He's quick on
He
his
was a little
feet.
bit nervous, but he's quick.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the more
yeah.
of these he does, he'll become a media darling, and they'll love him.
And he's a goofball.
And those headsets, there's a little bit of delay when they're talking to you, so it kind of throws you off a little bit when
Yeah.
you're talking on those headsets.
He's Mr. The soundbite. You know, he's that guy. You want to get something from him.
It's so crazy, EJ, that they still even do like player interviews. Like this is funny, but the 99% of them are garbage.
Well, the worst
Well, you
one.
get fined if you don't. Then
The-
you got to quit the
Well,
U.S. Open.
You have to do it.
DeMarshawn
Or whatever it
Lynch.
was.
I think that is the dumbest thing. Andrea and I, and my wife gets really mad about. We were watching Minnesota United play. I forget who we were watching, but anyway, we're watching Adrian Heath, our old coach, who now coaches
Yeah.
for Minnesota United.
The coaches are the worst.
And they
man.
came to Adrian in the middle of the match while it's playing. Like he's studying the shape of his team.
Yeah, yeah,
And they
yeah.
come to him, and it's just, I hate it because it's like, why are you distracting this guy? Let him do his thing. They're not going to say anything I need to hear. Let me
No.
watch the game.
What's interesting to me is the producers are pressured to do this for some reason, and it must be because people want to
Is
see.
it to humanize the...
I don't know, but any sports fan will tell you the coaches, the players never tell you anything interesting. It's always the same BS. Like we're gonna
Come out
play.
here to win.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like we're gonna play.
Give 110%.
In fact, they
yeah.
get trained literally to not give up anything. Like they would be yelled at by their coaches and team if they were like, "Well,
Here was our strategy.
yeah, the second half we're going to stack the box and make it so they
Right.
can't run." Like you're not going to say anything. You're just going to be like, "We're going to try harder
Yeah.
next
Yeah,
time."
it's
and-
dumb.
The only interviews
All
I've ever
right.
liked from sports players are the
Garbage.
candid ones, where it's like them and their families or them behind the scenes. You know, I don't care about what they're doing in the game. I know what they're going to do,
yeah. If you
or what they're going to try to do.
You hear some of these guys on podcasts and hear about their lives. That's interesting. I'm talking about like the halftime or after a game, or you catch them walking out of the locker room or in the locker room. It's nothing interesting. Never, ever.
Yeah. Well,
Who wants
my
that?
point, not to go back to it, my point on that Adrian Heath interview, he's in the middle of trying to decide what he's going to do. Do you honestly believe that as he's downloading the information that's on the field currently, that he's going to tell you what he's going to do?
Right.
Or anything interesting at all.
No, he's too
being
into it.
distracted.
Making him mad.
Yeah, leave him alone.
And even
and that is the thing that Andrea hates, is that it ends up making the coach mad. especially one that has a temper like Adrian.
So going back to it, who wants this, and why are the producers still demanding it?
They want it.
The producers?
Yes, because it justifies
Yeah.
their job. Because if you can get the coach on the line, then your broadcast is a little more meaningful than just a broadcast. Maybe, I don't know.
But
I'm trying to give you an answer.
Isn't the viewer the
We
end all
dictate.
be all?
We should
Yeah,
dictate.
like
Yeah.
the viewer is the one that's like they are basically a slave to the viewer, right? Because if the viewer's not there, they're fired. So if nobody in the viewing audience wants to hear some BS from the coach,
Well, you're cutting away from the game. I want to watch the game.
Just end it.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. What's next, EJ?
Okay, well, then we're going from one transition like that to the other. Did you hear about John Ron, the golfer that was playing this weekend?
Hold
on.
John Ron? Does he own Ron Johns? Is it John
No,
Ron
it's
Johns?
ROHN is his last name. So it's not spelled the same.
But it's spelled like John.
But his name is John Ron.
Yeah, he's a golfer, but he got pulled off. He was up 6 strokes towards the end of the tournament, and they had to pull him because he tested positive for Rona, and he was one of those famous, like, I'm not going to get the vaccine.
John Ron's got Corona.
Well, that's the thing. They go up to him while he's on the course. He just hit his ball on the green and hit it in for his putt. They come up to him, and Jim Nantz, who's the announcer, has no clue what's going on. So they're coming up to him and saying, "Hey, you got Rona. You got to get out of here."
It's John
And
Rom
Jim-
with an M.
Rom. I knew that something was wrong.
R-A-H-N.
Thanks, Samantha.
Yeah,
you know what? You
appreciate
should
it.
do Nerd Junkie.
Yeah.
So, okay, don't
It's
they...
Nerd Jug featuring Samantha.
Isn't the whole
Thank you,
point
Samantha.
of pre-testing for Corona to
Beforehand.
avoid them
Yeah.
going out and playing?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of giving them, like, we give you the 24-hour test.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know in the middle of your tournament. if you-
Excuse me, sir. I know you're winning.
Isn't it so they give them the instant test before they go out?
I think so. I don't know what test they gave him. They just said that he tested positive, and supposedly he got the vaccine that morning. So it's like, okay, was he testing positive because he did that, or I don't know. That's the conflicting reports that are coming out because it happened on Sunday.
Well, that would make you test positive for Corona. I've read something about that. The vaccine will not make you test.
yeah.
I think if
That's the faults.
If you put on Google, that comes up as a
Yeah, it's
question.
a big one. He has like the flags and the alerts next to it.
Yeah. So it could be possible he just got Corona and then had it. So did they make him leave? Did
They said
disqualify
every day up until the day of the actual game, he tested negative. And then the most recent one of like that morning, he tested positive.
Probably a false positive, but also
Nope, because they did a second one after they pulled him from it, and that was also positive.
Oh, really?
It's kind of the thing with my husband, right? He got a couple negatives, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he got positive.
Wait a minute. And your husband was also playing golf.
But
Hold on a second.
Was he 6 strokes ahead of everybody?
Like
going into the last round?
He was strokes ahead.
I thought the whole point was like,
oh my god,
your test had to come back before he let you go play
Right,
the
right.
event, right? Not
Yeah,
like,
he was on the
like,
course.
Oh,
That's
there's-
odd.
It's kind of like me with a fast pass at Disney. When I look
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
lady and she looks at me and I'm like, it's only 12 minutes. Let me go early. And then I run down the corridor to Soren.
There's no way that he could have tested positive because of the vaccine, right? That's not a thing.
I think that's the big one where if you, like Tom said, you type it into Google, that is absolutely not a thing.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because you're not getting the dormant virus
Correct.
like
Right.
like other
Like
vaccines.
a flu
Correct.
shot.
You're
Thank
getting
you.
yeah, you're getting something else. Anyway, you look it up. Is there?
Okay.
Next story.
Yeah, we're
EJ.
jumping
Next
off of
story.
that
Oh,
fast.
well, then we got to talk about Julio Jones going to the Titans.
Yes.
What a crazy trade that is.
Well, I mean, the more I read about it, the more I understand it a little bit more, and I'm more than okay with it. I just feel like, I don't know, for me, as a fan of his, I would have preferred him to go to somewhere where I think that they would instantly win a Super Bowl.
Well, the Packers fans are really mad because that was the thing they were going to use to try to entice Aaron Rodgers to stay.
Correct.
But because he went to Tennessee, Tennessee's defense is the thing that's a suspect there. Their offense is already good.
Yeah.
But it's going to make it even better. So hopefully they'll be like the Colts back in the day where they have to score like 60 points
like
to win
tons-
games
yeah,
because their defense is giving up 45.
I don't know, like I'm not no expert, but from the people I listen to, there's not one of them that's really, they're like, yeah, this helps your offense. But again, like EJ is saying, their defense is so bad. How much does a 30, what did we say he was?
32, 34.
34, 33-year-old wide receiver, how much can he benefit your team? It's not like it all of a sudden puts them in a higher win bracket. Maybe the Titans' win total went up by half a point. I'm not sure. But it seems like kind of a nothing, right? Like,
I mean, it's big for my team because everything that I've been reading, and Ghost of Manute Bull in our Twitch chat room kind of hit it on the head. It pays his contract in full, which gets us out of a lot of cap trouble. So it gives my team a little bit more of a future, which is cool. And because we were
because you got 3 picks, like a second rounder, a 6th rounder, and like a future.
I think a future 4th, and then we get, but it pays off the contract, which is really the most important part here.
I've heard some people like they got mad because who's the other wide receiver they traded a while back in Atlanta that they also got a second round for. So people were comparing them like, you got a second round for it was a popular
was it Hooper? Our tight end?
No, Sanu.
Sanu, yeah.
They're like, you got a second round for Sanu, and then the second round for Julio Jones. How the hell does that? But it's different circumstances. But people are just looking at second round pick for Sanu and Julio, and they're like, how is this possible? Sanu's not even close to Julio. And then as far as Atlanta goes, they looked at it kind of like a swap. You got Kyle Pitts, you get rid of Julio, and now you're basically about the same team, right? And there's questions of Julio's health. Can he maintain
last season?
His health?
Wasn't good, right?
Yeah.
What did he play? 4 games?
Although, tell me, Daniel.
I'm no football expert. I can barely hold on to handling, paying attention to the Falcons.
We go year by year as fans, but these players, they have multi-million dollars on the line. There's agents. There's a whole. They got a whole team. They're looking at more than just this year,
correct.
Right? They're looking at their entire career because their entire career.
Anybody that thinks this was happened in the last couple months, I think, is insane, right?
So I wonder if Julio's looking I'm going to be traded. So how about instead of working my ass off and having the possibility to get injured and then being worth nothing, I just say, hamstring, and then play half the year because I'm still just as good. It's just I'm not playing the games.
Correct.
And everybody knows that, right? It's still the same person. It's just so everybody's like, hamstring, he may not be healthy. He planned this, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, your throat sounds a little rough.
Yeah.
I think you pulled a throat strain.
Anyway, it's like I fall into that trap all the time thinking that this is not the inevitable plan, but if it makes sense that he just kind of sat out this year to keep himself healthy.
You want to be fit.
So that you don't.
And it was 7 games, not 4. I was wrong, but thank you, Ghost. I forget that we have people in there that are in the know.
Next up.
Okay, the next one is a segue segment. You guys did talk about Logan Paul and the fight on, I think, the BDM show already. You talked about it on other stuff.
Yeah.
But did you know that he was wearing his Charizard card to the ring when he went in? So it's kind of a nerd and jock segment.
Yes, I saw that. They made jokes about it.
It's like a $150,000 card, but he says it's worth $1 million, which only if he sells it for that much, which I doubt it. But because he brought it to that ring, it upped the value.
So what did he do?
He has a Pokemon card that's some gold around it. It's made into a necklace, and it's the Pokemon card that he has. Anyway, he wore it around his neck to when he walked up to the ring, and then he took it off and gave it to. I mean, just like anybody, a boxer has some giant bling diamond encrusted.
You have some sort of thing on.
He did it with
Seth wearing a dog collar or something like that.
It is weird. A lot of
he did it with a Pokemon card.
A lot of the influencers that I've seen is very popular within the influencer area. Even your weirdo influencers like your Daddy Longnecks and your Gucci Berries and the people that Mike Busey know a lot. They emulate almost rap culture in that they get these grandiose necklaces and jewelry pieces made, and they it's weird.
You know what that is? I think it's the psychology of the world doesn't take me seriously. I'm going to show them how rich I am.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of similar to us buying the billboard or the bus.
Yeah.
Where
100%. We are on the same wavelength.
And it's natural human psychology if you think about it. All right, we own this business. We're making money. Nobody takes us seriously. We'll show them. We'll buy a billboard that everybody knows is expensive.
Yeah.
Or we'll buy this bus wrap or whatever. And then
Just to let you know.
our community will be like, oh, they must got money.
That's how you know.
It's that equivalent. Like you buy a necklace that is gold and diamond encrusted that everybody sees, and I'm like, well, he's got a diamond encrusted gold necklace. He must be doing well. I'm taking him more seriously. I think these social media influencer YouTubers like. Logan Paul's worth how much now? Like after that fight or whatever, over 100 million probably, right? No, he didn't get paid that much.
19 million.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's a lot, though.
It is
That's
a
still
lot.
of money.
That's a lot.
$19 million.
Yeah, but I just yelled at over 100. Which
Yeah,
is
well,
way
you're
too far.
insane.
I forgot he made way less than Mayweather, of course, because Mayweather didn't have to do that. But it seems like this guy's on the way to making more and more, and this 19 million probably is going to be 3 times that if it keeps going like this, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he'll just keep doing it.
the more famous he gets, the more advertising money he gets, the more money.
I actually believe my
subscribers.
prediction for Logan Paul, maybe not so much for his brother, but my prediction for him will be that he will chill and he will start to calm a little bit. And he will legitimize himself a little bit more because now he's done enough of the zany where he has enough money where he can establish himself to do different things, and he'll ride that for a little bit.
See, I think he's got the 90s DJ in him.
You think he's addicted to it then?
Yes.
Because those guys can't turn it off.
Likes the attention.
Because the smart guys are the guys that can do it, and then they know when to turn it off.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you want. Like, remember I used to say...
Because if he could just chill with 20 mil and be like,
Yeah.
look, I'm going to invest in some certain things, maybe do some legitimate, things. Because it's not like he's not a decent-looking dude. He can do some legitimate stuff.
I almost see it like in these like interviews he does or whatever. I'm like, that's the 90s radio DJ gene or whatever it is. That's the Bonaducci. That's the Man Cow or whatever.
What happened to Bonaducci?
Who's probably doing radio somewhere, like, or podcasts.
Same thing.
But it's like those guys their engine for fame is what they want, right? The money and stuff. Like Logan Paul could probably, he don't have to do these boxing things anymore. He could just run a media empire.
That's kind of what I
chill out. But he don't want that.
Yeah.
He wants to be famous.
See, I see that in his brother more than I see in him. But I don't know the guys.
I think they both want it. He screamed after this match, don't let it, like, nobody tell anybody what they can't do, or don't tell me what I can't do, or they said this was impossible. I did it. No one's going to stop me. This guy is now a freight train of celebrity, and he loves it, right? So the bigger the promotion, the more he can get on the map.
You're probably right.
I think that's what motivates him, and that's what motivates guys like that, especially because look at what he's doing now. It screams, give me the most attention possible. And he's making money.
We are in attention land as of late. What else you got?
Yep. Okay, well, switching over to Nerd. Tomorrow, Loki premieres, which is going to be on Disney+. And out of the shows they mentioned that there was going to come out, whether it was WandaVision or Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki was the one I was looking forward to the most because it's the one that had the most weird kind of show. Like, it's a variant of Loki who's off the timeline, and how are they going to fix that when it comes to the whole MCU timeline? So I'm looking really forward to that tomorrow morning.
This was always going to happen because you nerds in your little universe.
What are you talking about?
They remember the argument you and I had with the nerds last time we did this, where we were saying you can't have it both way, nerds.
Yeah.
You can, and this is what's happening. You guys have you're told too many lies. You have too many universes.
Yeah.
And when
because he died. Okay, spoilers. If you haven't seen Endgame, which is 5 years ago, Loki dies at the very beginning of that movie. But he's died in every Thor movie so far. So, and he always comes back. So it's one of those scenarios where, of course, they're going to keep him around. Tom Hiddleston's a fantastic actor. They're going to give him his own show. Loki's amazing. I'm looking forward to watching it tomorrow morning.
What is it? Well, who is he? Like, I've never heard of this.
Isn't he like
Loki is Thor's adopted brother from Odin. He used to be a part of the Frost Giants lineage. He was supposed to be a prince in that, but they were gonna.
God of
they
mischief.
left him out. The god of mischief. They left him out in the cold. Odin won a battle against the Frost Giants and decided to adopt his enemy's son and take him in as his own and foster him. And
the worst thing you can do to your enemy.
To be a king.
The worst thing you can do to your enemy is to foster his son, adopt him, and make him your own. I've been trying to do this for years.
Now
and
you
it's just
say
impossible.
you say adopt. Did he kill the dad and then?
No, he just signed the papers.
Was he offered?
Just took him.
Okay, well that's
he was supposed to die. Like they left him out in the cold to freeze to death, but
Damn.
Odin took him. Yeah.
Wait, were his dad? Is Loki's real dad dead?
No. Yes. He killed him at the end of the first Thor movie.
Who killed him?
He did.
Loki killed his own.
Loki killed his own father because
that's not mischief. That's
Laufey
murder.
Is his dad, and Laufey was going to kill Odin when he was during the Odin sleep.
Laufey.
Loki killed him.
So
I don't know if I say it right.
The son
I always get that name messed up.
Killed his dad. And
then he bought tickets for a Knicks game and he sat courtside while Mark Jackson drained it.
So and then Odin adopted Loki
and raised him to adulthood, which in Asgardian terms could be thousands of years.
All right, stupid.
And don't yuck on yum, Tom. Remember?
And so, what is this? By the way, I do not adhere to that.
Yeah, yeah. He yucks on everything.
I want to yuck on everything.
Yeah, he's Mr. Yuck.
Yeah. So, what is this show about?
Okay, this show is about a variant of Loki. So, in Endgame, spoiler alert, he ends up grabbing the Tesseract in 2012.
The Tesseract.
And he basically violates the timeline by escaping with the Tesseract. And then the Time Variance Authority, which is the governing body that keeps the timeline in order, decides to arrest him and then use him as an agent for themselves.
Don't you guys just want to watch some Curb Your Enthusiasm? Like, why? This is fun for you. It hurts my brain.
I'm super excited about this.
The guy that lives with Larry is super funny.
Yeah.
It's such a
the episode with Crazy Eyes Killer. That's a great episode.
So the God of this is going to be another like series, kind of like WandaVision or whatever.
Yes, and it's basically traveling through time. Like in the preview for the show, like he ends up in like Pompeii, and then he supposedly is the one that's DB Cooper, really. And when he escaped, he jumps out the airplane, and he Thor and Heimdall use the Rainbow Bridge to bring him back to Asgard.
The Rainbow Bridge.
This is just what's our favorite
what
show? Quantum Leap. This is Quantum Leap, right?
Yeah.
This is a rewritten Quantum Leap.
At some point, Loki looks into a mirror and he goes, "I'm an R word," and then they have to cancel. The entire thing.
Find that clip. We're playing it right now. We're playing it right now. We can play it.
It's the ringtone.
We didn't say it.
It was the ringtone from when my mom would call me. It was. My mom would call me. That would play every single time. That's how I knew it was her.
Quantum Leap. Bakula said it.
Bakula.
Old
he was a captain on Star Trek too.
Old Billy Bakula.
It was Scott Bakula.
So this is basically every episode is going to be some famous event.
Yeah,
and
Loki
U.S.
ends up and
history.
he falls out of the sky and he's like, "You're at the World's Fair," and he's like, "Oh."
So
possibly I haven't seen the show yet, but I'm looking forward to.
Well,
it.
if they do the DB Cooper, that's a tell that they're going to do other like he shot JFK.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Oh, he stole Lincoln's hat. This is stupid.
But all the famous things that happened in our history, I'm sure they're going to tie him into, and they're like, "Oh, that's who did it."
Yeah. Oh, there he is. And he's going to go back to all these different times.
Although I do like the Quantum Leap aspect of it, but they're stealing that. That's straight up.
Well, there's nothing original anymore.
No,
yeah, Quantum Leap was also like a Star Trek episode.
The best episodes were when Scott Bakula would go into a woman's body. And you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know what I'd be doing." Everybody thought that.
Yeah.
I like the one where he went into a chimp's body.
If you were a young boy, you dreamed of being teleported into a woman's body, so you could just,
Although it's not.
Man, I feel like a woman.
It wouldn't be the same because you would have her feeling and everything, so you're not getting what you want, and your D is gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
you're right.
So what is that? You're just
it's nothing to me.
I think you'd be traumatized by having no D.
No, I have it under good authority that there is 10 seconds when you first change into a woman where you get both sensations, and that's that sweet spot. If you can get that 10 seconds of man-woman.
Because you don't even
You're
know.
hermaphrodite?
Yeah, 10 minutes of hermaphrodite, you're good to go.
Because you don't even know how, like, your new body parts work. So
I know
feel
how
like,
they work.
well,
I know how they work better than my wife does. I've been down there more. Think about it.
Next story.
It's like the pump and gas sex question I gave you. Who's seen it more?
Next story.
Okay, should we talk about Why the Last Man or Jensen Ackles?
Go Why the Last Man, because isn't that coming to...
Yes, they just set the premiere date. That's why I have to talk about it.
But
it's going to be on Hulu.
I thought it was... Isn't it... Oh, okay, it's on Hulu. I thought it was on FX for some reason.
No, it's on Hulu. Well, I think it's going to be on FX, but later on. But it's going to be on Hulu, and they set the premiere for September 13th, 2021. So it'll be this year that we'll get to see Why the Last Man.
Excellent comic book. Will it be uncensored? Because the only reason
I think so.
Because the FX thing, look, I don't want it to be gratuitous, but I also want it to have the freedom I think it needs, because the actual book is a little gritty.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And the plot of the thing is who's the last man on Earth, and it's basically a male genocide. There's no more men on the planet.
You'd like it, Tom. It's good sci-fi.
You'd like it, Tom.
It's good
Children
sci-fi.
of Men?
It's good sci-fi.
So there's no more...
Children of Men came after the book. So
is there only women?
There's only women. Like the president's a woman.
All right.
What?
Down with the patriarchy. I'm with it.
Oh, I'm glad my pop-up's not here to see
He
this.
wouldn't watch this.
No.
He'd click
He
right
got
over to
mad.
HBO Boxing.
Oh, he got real mad.
Tommy Morrison's got AIDS.
So with a planet of all women, how do they they can't, like, their
Well, he
generation...
becomes a bit of a commodity, right? Because
Yeah,
it's the
think
last
about
guy.
it. He becomes like the only producer. So that's the only you could have him, and that's basically some of the plot of the whole series.
That is the plot.
And they're trying to, like, do they enslave him?
You'll have to watch or read.
Yeah.
It's all beings on the planet. So it's only females of all beings and species. So like animals, people, everything. It's all female.
Hey, well, what about the animals? The animals, is there
Ouch,
one
ew, animals
male
are-
pig that is roaming around, or are they all screwed?
Well, there is,
Supposedly
but
not.
his show's
Yeah.
gonna be I think gonna be only on Amazon Prime.
Also,
And it's Why the Last Pig.
you'd run out of meat after a while, right?
Hey.
Animals
Yeah,
only
rid of
live for...
everything.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
basically the disease eradicates the whole Y chromosome. That's why
Yeah,
it's called Why the Last Man, because the main character's I can't remember his real name. It's like Yensid or something like that.
Well, certain
Like Disney backwards.
certain reptiles
What?
and frogs and
It's
stuff
York.
they can go back and forth and turn.
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
change their sex.
I wish I could
there,
go back
yeah.
and forth. If I ride a bicycle long enough, I could go back and forth.
Did you learn that from Jurassic Park?
No, yes, of course I did, EJ. But also, that's true.
I just want you to admit it. That's the best part.
That's, of course, everything comes from Jurassic Park.
Everything.
From movies.
Oh.
Okay, the last story I have is Tom, you've been watching The Boys, right?
Well, they're his sons, and if he doesn't, they get out of
No,
control. They're wandering
Where
out.
are they?
Amazon Prime series.
They were just here.
I watched, the first 2 seasons. Third season's coming up, or
Third season's coming up, and they hired Jensen Ackles, who's known for being Dean Winchester from Supernatural, and he's going to play, what's the name of the character? The Soldier. Basically, he's Captain America's analog in that universe, and he has the beard and everything. It's pretty impressive. They released some screenshots of it this weekend.
So, it was a good show. Like, obviously, rated R. Like, there's a,
very violent.
violent
yeah.
and the jokes. Is there nudity in that? I don't think so nudity, but
Well, it's inferred.
There was nudity in it. Yeah, remember the club they go to?
Yeah,
And
there's there's sexual situations and
I like
Yeah.
things that are said.
See, if you go adult themed, then I'm back in with the superheroes
well,
because
then
I'm
you
like,
need to
this is
watch
not baby.
Invincible.
Watch
Is it a
Invincible.
cartoon?
It is a cartoon.
Okay, that's all.
It's a cartoon,
But
it's amazing.
It's a hyper crazy cartoon.
It doesn't matter what. I mean, it could be the worst stuff because the cartoon. I'm like, for baby.
You just can't do it.
Like it's
crazy to me, man.
I don't have.
There's so much freedom in animation. I love it.
I
You
don't-
can do anything.
It's true. I don't have any connection to the character because it's animated. So like,
You don't have connections to humans, so what does
yes,
it matter?
I do. Of course, I have ultra
What, so
empathy.
you look at a human and you're like, I think he has a real nose like me. I'm in. Is that-
No. It's just the human aspect of it. I just equate cartoons with nonsense and fantasy nonsense. So it's like, well, this isn't real. At least the human
But the
actors.
voices are real. The voice actors.
Voices are real.
And the inflection and feelings that they that they're able to.
You can't be moved by emotion by situations. Because that's kind of part of it.
It's just the cartoon. I get out. I'm like, for babies.
Okay.
They're not into cartoons.
I got you.
But if you like The Boys, you would like Invincible.
No, he won't because it's a cartoon. Didn't you just hear him? He just told you he doesn't like cartoons. He doesn't even like our
Just
cartoon.
give it a shot. Watch the first episode, and that's it.
Now he doesn't even like our cartoon faces.
Like
He wanted our original billboard to not be our cartoon faces. He wanted it to be our real faces in black and white with frowns on our faces.
I will take the real people cartoon hybrid Cool World
or Sin City.
Well, Sin City is more of a artistic.
Lindsay Lohan as a nun.
Well, yeah, it's like everything's black and white except for the blood. That's a little
and
different.
the yellow guy.
But Cool World, when I watch that as a young Tom man, like 13. I don't know when
nostalgia. You get a nostalgia boner.
Yeah.
Which is the thing.
I wish I could do it with a cartoon.
Well, you can.
That's interesting. You hate cartoons because you think it's for babies, but you want to bang a cartoon.
But that's because
that's where it makes him the sickest of the show.
Yeah, you are the sickest of the show, man.
That's because I watched that at a certain time in my life, and it influenced my sexuality. It's not my fault.
Oh my God.
It's true. Like I want to.
This might be a good time to wrap this
and forever have wanted to bang a cartoon.
Okay.
All right.
Still do.
Oh my God.
Okay,
still do.
I like cartoons.
Okay,
Family Guy.
Hollywood. Meg from Family Guy.
Lisa
My wife's
Simpson.
convention.
My God.
Daphne.
It's not a pedophile.
Velma. Lisa
Mystic
Simpson is
Dash
43 years old. She's been a child on TV that long. It's not my fault she's short and still plays saxophone. She's got blue pubes.
Marge, hold on. Marge has blue pubes. You idiot.
You know what? I deserve that. I deserve that.
I
fully.
know cartoon porn.
This guy knows cartoons.
That's the only cartoons he watches is the
So
porn.
you idiot. It's Marge. You fool. Get off the show. That's the best. You know what? I nominate this for worst person on the show awards. We were just talking
All right,
about
let me
this.
write this down.
One.
Yeah, put this
I was
in.
like, which one of you are you done? I'm like, Travis, it's only me. Anyway. We got to get out of here, EJ.
Love you guys. Talk to you later.
Hold on.
man.
Do you want to plug your wife's mic on?
I did while you were talking about Marge's blue
Oh,
bush.
okay. Well, no one heard it.
All right. Oh,
Wow.
my God. All right, buddy. We love you. Be good.
All right, love you guys. Bye.
All right,
See ya.
man. See ya. That is EJ.
All right.
That was spicy. Okay. We'll take a break, or is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Bye-bye. Welcome. I'm not going to say what show it is because we
Welcome.
don't know.
Yeah, we don't know where this is going.
So-
Hello there. Hi.
I'm listening to this book, and they're talking about now they're diving into.
Is this the Annie Get Your Gun book?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Annie Duke.
How long are we going to have to hear about this book?
Is it
while
a
I
woman
was
or a
here,
man?
I like to tell you guys because my wife don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you,
Guess what? Spoiler alert.
I know,
We don't
I know,
either.
yeah, but at this, I have to tell someone.
I also like that, and this is a true story. I like that I gifted Tom a book. He didn't want to read it. He bought his own book.
Yeah.
I
No,
gifted him a book to read. I'm like,
I'm
this
gonna-
is all about the stuff you want to read. And he's like, yeah, F your book. I'm going to buy another book.
Well, I thought about your book.
But you didn't want to read it because it's not Annie Get Your Gun.
Well, no, because how much does your book have to do with gambling?
Nothing. It's
okay,
about,
well,
but it is about life, and it's about how comfort is killing your life because you're not challenging yourself.
Okay,
and it's
yeah,
about
I
the
like that. Japanese
Japanese technique of I'm gonna say it wrong. I want to say like it's mitsu, which is basically cleansing your body through a hard task in order to ward off negative spirits.
Okay, yeah. See, I like that. I'm going to listen to that next. I got a lot of time when I'm down in Miami.
So old Annie Duke is telling you what?
No, well, just about like going into how to optimize your happiness, right? And
So this is a self-help book.
kind of what
Cool.
she's using, like what she's learned in gambling, and the whole thing is thinking bets. So it's like you like what I did with Butler. It's like people's opinions or whatever. Often like you think in everything in terms of bets, right? So it's like thinking about, all right, I got 20 years left. What job do I want to do? Where do I want to live? How do I want to live my life? And then putting it all into like percentages of like, I'm going to put this much time towards this, and like, trying to optimize it the best way possible.
I want to make homemade potato chips. I want to live in Connecticut.
I'm explaining it horribly.
I want to drive a Mini
I don't
Cooper.
know.
But
it's not even her most recent book, dude.
Oh yeah, she's She's done a bunch of different books. She kind of retired from being a professional poker player to like touring around and writing books about like these
now
kind of
she's
things.
a business consultant.
Yeah, they all go that way.
She goes.
We'll eventually be that.
But there's in this new chapter that I'm listening to, they talked about like there's been studies to show that people's happiness is not really linked to what we all think was just like their own accomplishments and the personal life, everything like achieving their goals they wanted to, and more linked to them comparing themselves to others because of how our brains work or whatever.
Weird.
So like there's been some like scientists, like psychologists that did a study about like what makes people happy. And there's a link.
Is it not being as bad as somebody else? Is that what makes us happy?
Or just comparing yourself to whoever?
No, that's my point. Is that like,
terrible.
so you compare yourself to somebody else and you're like, well, I'm not that guy. And that makes me more happy than X, Y, and Z.
And it doesn't seem correct, but it's the way human minds work. It's kind of like the way we're so locked into the way we think. And you're like, it's kind of like, remember how I described like people are seeing two different things: the red or pink dress,
red grass,
pink dress, green dress. It's like
Laurel and Yanny,
they're hearing and seeing different things than you are, and you're like, how is it so different? And they're just seeing it different. And then once they get an idea of whatever, it's really hard to change people's opinions.
It is
because we've evolved to not really change our opinion. There's nothing in it for us. It's actually better for us to be like steadfast with our opinions because in the history of evolution, that's kept us alive longer. So changing the way you live your life, there's no advantage. I mean, there's advantage nowadays, but we're stuck in evolution and the way our brains work. So we're
things change slowly.
Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, going back to like the pursuit of happiness and whatever, looking at what you want your life to be and what makes you happy is difficult because it's so correlated with the way
you compare
yourself to other people.
I can see that.
Which is hard to get away from. I guess you got to slowly train your mind to not compare yourself to other people or where you want to be, or use that as a gauge for your own happiness, you know? But everybody does it, and apparently it's because of evolution that we do that.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
So and when you start looking at all that, like that to me, like figuring out how our brains work to figure out if we could hack that, that's what I find interesting. It's like, you're like, all right, my human brain works like this. The way I think is because of these things, right? These experiences. I like, evolution lends me to think this way, whatever.
Yeah.
Changing that is fascinating to me. I don't know why I told you that.
No. I like that you. This is the first time I think in a long time we've had a conversation like this. Are there things in your life? What's the number one thing right now that you would like to change?
It's hard for me because I don't, I keep myself so busy all the time. Crystal yells at me. She's like, why don't you sit down? When I go home, I just want to do projects. I want to do water my plants. Like, I don't.
You're not ever like just sitting down in silence.
Killing time, just doing nothing. I just can't do it. And then I tell her, like, it just makes me happier if I'm constantly busy.
How are you,
working.
Sam? Are you constantly working or?
Yeah, but I'm trying to not do that.
Yes, and that's hard.
Thus, I cut back on my own podcast. I'm trying to do more like outdoor stuff on the weekends when I'm not working, and instead of being locked inside, trying to come up with content or research or whatever, because it'll kill you.
Yeah, it does. I think it's counterproductive too. It's like the more you sit and try to wait
start
for it,
bogging down your mind.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
And that's what I'm trying to examine too. Is like, I think this is what I want to do because I'm motivated to do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm motivated for happiness, right? So
Right,
I'm like-
right, yeah,
So
yeah.
what I'm doing and why I want to do this, but is this the best thing for me?
Right.
And I'm asking myself this question, like, is there a better way, like, instead of, like, going out and doing some other project or working on something, should I be sitting and meditating or something? You know, like, will that be more beneficial
I
to
think
me?
it would be, honestly,
It
especially for you.
It depends on the person.
It feels like it isn't, and it feels like keeping busy is better for me, but I
Meditation
could
is
be wrong.
hard.
And that's another thing in the book too. Is like just because you think a certain way doesn't mean it's right.
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 And
For
that's
sure.
hard because this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do
that
it.
makes full
My
sense.
husband's kind of like that, and I'm trying to get him out of that.
And it's hard because it's just like someone that has like severe mental illness and like they believe something to be real.
You also believe, and you've said this multiple times, that you think that as you get older, if you stop working or whatever, like you die. And that's not necessarily true. Like a lot of people enjoy a long, retirement and relax and have fun and travel and do all kinds of things. I think you have it in your head. Maybe a little psychology here has something to do with your dad dying young. So you feel like you have to do a bunch of stuff before your time is up.
It could be, yeah. I also saw my grandfather really stop working is different than stop moving. Like I mean,
yeah, but you won't stop moving.
But I do still agree with that, and that's just science. It's like when you're an old person, you need to keep your muscle mass. And
Yeah, you
keep
need to stay active,
You know, because
they say.
you
Stay active, sure.
stay
Within
active there.
reason.
Yeah. But I mean, and I think the more you stay active and work out, the longer you'll live. And I think that's just science, right? It's like people that just sit down or start becoming less active, your muscles, you're dying. You know, once you pass. I mean, honestly, once you pass 30, you're slowly dying. But it's like
On my way out.
You get into 60s, 70s, and I've seen like you hurt yourself, you're done. Like you get into any like long-term like rehabilitation where it's like you start losing muscle mass, you're in bed for 3 weeks, and then like it's hard to come back from it. People do it,
People
but
don't.
You have to fight. Like it's super hard. So what I'm saying is like you just keep active, because I've talked to a lot of people that their parents, they're like, oh yeah, my dad stopped working and just started watching TV, and then like 5 years of that, and he's skin and bones, no muscle, like he's losing his mind.
I think there was a little bit of that with my dad. Not so much the like just sitting and watching TV, but there was some boredom that set in because he's a lot like you in the fact that he was always busy, always outside working on something, tinkering, walking his like. It's funny because the things that you say that you do around your house are like the things that my dad would have done, and it is a constant. There was never maybe he'd sit down to watch wrestling and have a drink, but that was way at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's
when everything was done. There was no such. It was just always moving, always moving.
Yeah,
never lazy.
Yeah, but there's a happy medium here. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You can't be always moving, always busy, no time for nothing, and you can't also just be ultra lazy, just sit around, do nothing either. There's a healthy
balance.
mixture there.
Finding life balance.
And you got kids, man. You got to make some time to do fun stuff with them.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the easy stuff.
Yeah, and that's
that'll keep you busy.
Of course.
Oh my God, too busy.
But then there's this whole movement now that people are retiring earlier. Because the old school mentality, you retire when you're 65. Like there's a generation of our generation, I guess you would be a Gen Z,
Am I? I don't even know. I always thought I was Gen X.
Gen X. Okay.
You forget I'm old.
Gen X, and then
I'm gonna be 45.
Older,
in 3 days.
A couple days, yeah.
I'm the older millennial, so I'm turning 40 soon, and then I think our generation is looking and like, well, I think I want to do something, my own thing, or stop working real hard at 55. And I've heard that that's the new benchmark.
I mean, what is inherently good about working until you're old? You know?
If Andrea's dead,
enjoy your life if you can.
Yeah, but
retire early.
If Andrea's dead, it keeps me busy. You
I
know?
guess.
So you got to think about that
Well,
stuff.
But you can do other things while you're retired to keep you busy that's not work,
Well,
right?
that's the
Andrea
thing.
asked me this yesterday. It's weird you guys are bringing this up. She's like, what kind of retiree do you think you're going to be? Are you going to be like one of those tennis playing, golfing every day kind of
Going
guys?
to the villages.
And I was like, I can't see myself
No,
doing any of that.
You're locked in your balcony or your attic,
Yeah.
looking out the
Yeah,
window,
looking at the side
scared out of your mind.
Oh, terrified.
I know what kind of retiree
Terrified. I'm
dude
looking
is.
outside and I'm surrounded by all of you people out there living your lives and having fun.
He's got pee-pee jars and,
And
he's
guns,
up
lots of guns.
up in the attic.
Yes.
You know, like that's
hiding
how.
up there with my friends, the bats.
But planning it out, I think, makes the most sense. It's like, all right, well, because I think there was a lot of people that similar to college, right? Like our generation is told, go to college, it'll lead to a job. Well, that's BS. So like, obviously, we're finding out that
it happened, but it wasn't college.
Yeah, but I was saying, like, now that's created this huge problem. Everybody's got this crazy debt from college or whatever, and we were promised that. I think there was a generation.
Oh my God, we're promised so many things in this country that are not true.
Yeah, well, I think every society's like that. Like, we all have an idea of and then we tell our youth something like, this is how it goes, and then
we have a
society
sweeping generalization
changes,
of what you should hit in the bullseye.
But I think there was like my grandfather, the baby boomers and stuff were told like get a job and then retire,
married and
retire at 65, and that's you'll get Social Security or whatever the hell, and that's it. And enjoy your retirement, save up a certain amount or whatever.
Save it.
But we're all looking at it as like, why are we adhering to that garbage? Like, I'll do whatever the hell I want.
Exactly.
We're the this is the generation of I'll do what I want, right? Why?
We're trying, yeah.
And so then you're looking at 55 or whatever, or whenever you want to, really, like.
Whenever you can, right? Because
yeah.
you got to be able to afford to retire.
Then it's what. Like, how much money do I need to be happy? That's another thing too, because we're all like programmed to make as much money, and with more money become like I'll be happier. Then there's a certain point where you're like, well, I guess at this point and this kind of money and this expense that I have, I'm happy. I could live like this forever.
You find kind of your homeostasis and how things are moving perfectly, and you just ride that out.
And then if you can figure out how to make that minimum nut that you need to like make your happiness the peak. Sorry.
No, you're good. Okay.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's in the other room. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I almost screamed at Butler because I'm talking to my guest, and
Your guest.
He's the host of the show. You didn't.
No.
Apologies.
I just mean that you had to go to the bathroom, and I'm talking to her, and then I'm like, so how's it going? And then I hear Butler, like a 5-year-old, be like, so how's it going?
Mocking you. Yeah, he's mocking you.
Yeah, which I could hear, and then she's answering me. I'm getting
And you know
so
what?
red hot mad.
And he's going on vacation tomorrow, so that's his last day in studio this week. That's why he's trying to get his jabs in now.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the snake skin? I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Oh, you want to do it? Should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Tom wanted to do a bit, he called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it, Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Mortgage Solutions, StreamlineFlorida.com. A BDM just used them, left a review on their page. Brian sent it to me.
Ooh, and you're going to read it, which means you're going to mess it all up.
He sings Streamline's, praises and how good of a job they do, but also He's like, I was able to lower my interest rate significantly and also able to take equity out of my home. And also I saved $400 a month on my payment.
Awesome.
So
Well done, man.
So you take equity every house, and there is equity right now. Take equity out, maybe buy something you've always wanted to, or pay off something, pay off your credit cards, pay off your cars, whatever it is.
Buy some Bitcoin.
Whatever it is.
Doge. Get some Doge.
And then just do the best business decision. They'll tell you, like,
Ethereum.
if you could do it. But be careful with crypto. You could lose a lot.
I went all in, man. I was listening to you, and I took every bit of the money from the sale of my dead mother's home, and I it was all I bought about $270,000 worth of Ethereum.
If you invested now, maybe good, but a couple months ago, no, 10,000 less. Anyway, on the show with us right now for Weird Job Wednesday, Michelle. How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. So, Michelle, what is your weird job?
I am an inclusion consultant in early childhood.
I have no idea what it is.
That sounds fancy, and it sounds like that maybe are you a counselor or an educator that helps us like with maybe our brains in some way?
You're very close. I am sort of a coach and a mentor for other teachers.
Okay.
Specifically in early childhood.
Gotcha. So
behavioral studies type stuff?
Yes, a lot of behavioral support, kids with special needs, that sort of thing.
Oh, this is a hard job. This is a very, very difficult job.
So, Michelle, how'd you get into this industry? Was it like an education background?
Yeah, so I have actually worked in early childhood for 13 years. I started as a preschool teacher in Altamont Springs, Florida. Was my first preschool job. And I worked my way up from there. I became a center director for a school. And then I worked out here in Washington for a statewide quality improvement program, which helped support childcares and boosting their quality. And then I just sort of eased into this role, really focusing on the social emotional development rather for children, and really focusing on making sure that we provide places for children with special needs to go, where they're incorporated in regular classrooms with kids who are typically developing.
Michelle, can I ask you some questions about how I'm raising my boys? Because people tell me certain things.
We're going to go straight selfish, and we're just going to try and get free advice.
She knew this is where it was going.
Yeah, she knew.
I need help.
I can see it in your eyes that you knew where this was going.
So
I'm here to help you.
Some people have emailed me and told me that I like to do this thing. It's called the long scam. Michelle, and tell me if there's any damage that I'm doing to my sons because of this. So I came up with this idea that because these are humans and you can kind of tell them whatever you want.
Was this the picture in the hot tub?
No, I will tell her about that. But
okay,
this is another thing. Okay. I'll ask her about the picture.
Yeah, I was just.
I didn't do it, but I still contend it's fine.
Off the air.
So, I like to do this thing because I realize these humans will believe anything I say, and
there's a trust. I built this trust inside my daughter that I realize I can. It's powerful, and it's so hard to not want to ruin that.
You can indoctrinate anything you want, and they'll believe you because you're their whole world.
You're their boss.
Except for the internet now. Now they believe the internet and Ethan Gamer.
And Minecraft.
Minecraft.
And the Creeper. The Creeper is better than you.
They really get all their education and
from a Minecraft chicken. One Minecraft chicken.
But I like to plant these long cons, for instance, and I've successfully done one so far, is that I call the pressure washer wand the gutter. Long story short, they started calling it that, and I never corrected them, and now that's what they know it as. And I want to, this is for the future when they're like a teenager in their 20s, and they'll come to me one day and they're like, I told my buddy, hey, can you grab the gutter? And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then
now mine is a little more advanced than that in the fact that I've told my daughter that my wife and I are actually brother and sister, and she's never seen us be intimate like a normal intimacy, a hug or a kiss, because she is convinced that I am Andrea's brother.
So
it's fun. Parenting, you can definitely have fun with things. I think if you take it too seriously, it can definitely do more damage. So I think what you're doing with the pressure washer is fun, loving. My parents did similar things with me, and I think I turned out just fine. So I think it's fine to have sort of an inside joke with your own family. That's how I look at it. It's not going to inhibit their ability to function in any certain way. It's not like you taught them what a dog is actually something else.
That's a good one. Oh man, we should have. That's a good one. Tell my daughter that that's some sort of elephant.
So Michelle, what
Small furry elephant?
This is an ongoing like argument discussion in our household. Is
Wait a minute. You started with argument. You worked your way down to discussion. I do that too.
Is screen time? Because
I am really glad that you're on the line because this is obviously changing our behaviors. It's gotta be.
So
absolutely.
The screen time thing, we're now at I feel like at a time where we realize that too much screen time is probably a negative thing, but we're all as a society trying to figure out what is too much and what's an appropriate amount or what.
I don't know.
Because I constantly have this conversation, and my wife's like, we should, like, let's do this. Like, you know, they are allowed to play video games for 1 hour a day, and on the weekends, 2 hours. And she just got this from some Reddit or mommy blog or whatever.
Magazine.
From no professional or like in the studies or anything. I'm like, where are the studies? Because that's all I want. I'm like,
any. That's the problem.
Yeah,
there aren't any.
I mean, there's studies on it. Give me the studies. Anyway, so do you have, or does anybody have any idea about what's the appropriate amount of screen time for
6
kids?
minutes.
And I'm sure it changes by age, right?
Yeah, and I think it depends on what they're doing too. I think it's all in the intent, right? So if it's just something to distract them and keep them busy, I would say keeping that at a minimal amount is really important. If it's an educational piece of content that's going to really engage them and get them to interact, I think that's the most important part of it. So like video games, I don't think are very damaging because it does engage their brain. It's solving problems. They're doing puzzles. I think that can be really beneficial. I think where it tips the scale and becomes kind of dangerous for their development or dangerous for their academic development in particular is when they aren't having enough authentic, real experiences to balance out that screen time. So what I love about the both of you is that you're doing things with your kids. You're taking them outside, you're taking them into nature, you're signing them up for dance classes. They're having all these really tangible social environment kind of activities. And I think as long as you're creating that balance, they're going to be fine.
That's all Photoshop. None of that is real.
Yeah.
That's all boat Photoshop. The dance, Maisie. She's never been out of her house.
Yeah, I don't let her out.
It's a backyard tarp jail scenario. I've seen it.
You've heard, have you seen the show Kimmy Schmidt?
So, Michelle, I also want to ask you, you bring up an interesting point about content, because I have this theory about, like, my sons and Daniel, Maisie too, like, they would rather watch YouTube content and like people playing video games than any other cartoon, movie, whatever. If they had their opinion on it.
That's what she asked for yesterday. She's like, can I watch people playing the video game Roblox?
That's the number one, like, content that they want to consume out of anything. Is there, in your opinion, a difference between, like, let's say them watching someone play a video game that they like? Let's say, like, my son's like watching this kid play Minecraft, and he's talking about Minecraft. He's talking about like how he's playing it and what he's building. They are learning some sort of things, like, oh, that's how you make a diamond sword, or this how you make smelt some sort of pickaxe, or that's a part of the show.
I'll smelt your pickaxe.
Is there any difference between consuming that and then a cartoon where there's like a beginning, a middle, and end of an episode, and maybe has some sort of like
light moral?
Yeah, like any other cartoon that Disney produces or whatever. There's usually like a moral to it.
Like at the end of the day, we figured out that we are good at sharing.
Like between those two things, is one way better than the other, or is it about the same?
it's interesting. You brought this up on a show a while back, and I've been thinking about it ever since because I was wondering myself, does it matter? Again, there's no studies for any of this, so we don't really know based on science. I have to guess that when children are passively watching something like that, it's kind of like when we adults watch something passively, like reality TV shows, something that doesn't necessarily engage our brain. That it's more just regulating our emotions, right? We're doing it because we want to just chill and relax. Children need that too. So I think it's fine if they're sort of watching and regulating and just being chill and kind of mellowing out. That doesn't seem to be very damaging. In terms of the comparison of the two, I love your idea behind the structure and how it kind of shows them a storyline. I think that is important. I don't think that watching the video games is bad necessarily, because children tend to want to watch and mimic other people doing things anyway. So I think it taps into their natural interest in that way. So I don't think it's anything bad. I also don't think that they're really learning a lot from screen time. That has been proven with research that children really don't comprehend knowledge through screens the same way they do as if they were in person with someone who is right in front of them. So I'm not sure about the transfer of knowledge, but I don't think it's highly damaging.
I got another question for you.
We knew you did.
My sons don't want to use the bathroom anywhere they go. And for instance,
wait, now, hold on. Now we're dipping into like how many different? Oh my God, he has a huge list.
I got a lot of parenting questions.
Yeah,
You
buckle
can
up.
put me on retainer if you need to.
Oh, we can't. We can't afford anybody's retainers. We've been through that before.
Yeah. I got a lot of retainers. None of them with
I don't
the teeth.
even wear my retainer. I threw it away at SeaWorld.
So my sons are currently right now at this like the day summer camp. It's like sports camp with
sports camp.
What kind of sports are they playing?
It's just daycare.
Rock ball.
At daycare. They throw a bunch of balls in a gymnasium. And
and a bunch of teen girls stay on their phones, and if one of them gets hurt, they just put a Band-Aid on their leg.
Teen girls swiping.
Write up an incident report. Tommy fell off the ball pit.
They lock the gymnasium, and the teen girls swipe their TikTok, and they just run around like wild animals.
Okay.
That is true.
So, and it's cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Cheap
Oh, my
daycare.
God. I got Maisie in a camp 7 weeks for $20.
I think they use
and food included.
Yeah, I think they use government subsidies, and it's some sort of scam too.
Yeah, it's gotta be a scam
because they get government subsidies and they charge us.
I dropped her off in North Carolina. She won't be back for 4 weeks.
And I think the teens are earning some sort of like community service credit because some of them I think got a DUI. Anyway, so they refuse to use the bathroom, and then my wife picks up Tommy yesterday, and he's like doing the dance or whatever, and then he runs to the car. He's like, I gotta go pee-pee. And then my wife's like, use the bathroom. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
But why does anyone ask him why he does not?
Because he's afraid of other boys seeing his Lily.
No,
is that what it is?
He just says, we ask him, we're like, just go into the bathroom, lock the door, use it. You know how to use the bathroom.
You're telling him, but what do you ask him? What does he say?
Yeah, I don't want to.
I bet he doesn't want to.
I'm like, why? Use it. You're going to pee your pants. They're all going to laugh at you.
Okay, so.
And he just, no, I'm not going to do it.
So Maisie did this. Maisie did this too. She didn't want to change at dance in front of the other girls because it was like a modesty thing, right?
Yeah.
But then finally we got her like to a point where it was like tears, and then finally she did it, and then it was like all cool because she was like, "Yeah, I saw some of the bigger girls' butts, and I saw their boobs, and they look like mommy's boobs," and I was like, "Say it's no big deal."
That's weird. She said.
That's what she said.
The bigger girls, like,
well, I mean,
how big are they?
I mean, my wife is very flat-chested, so it checks out.
I'm just saying they don't want to. I scream, you're going to pee your pants. They're all going to laugh at you. And he's like, not doing it. So what do I do? Just wait till he pees his pants?
We'll send him with a Homer bucket.
Will he go into like a public restroom with you and he's fine?
Yeah,
but But Tom makes him sit on his lap and pee through his legs.
No,
so disgusting.
At Congo River or whatever, we go in there, and then and Max will even be like, I need my privacy or whatever. I'll go outside the stall. He'll go in there.
My privacy.
But that's what they say.
They are so proper, man. My daughter would literally do a flip and swim in the toilet. She's an animal. She's an animal.
I don't know why they say that because I'm like, what do you need for privacy?
You crazy?
Like, yeah.
Maisie will come in and and grab my phone out of my hands while I'm taking a number 2.
Oh, my kids will do too. They don't respect my privacy or anybody else's. They just say that because they know it wields some sort of power.
Well, don't let it wield power.
Well, I respect.
Say, I am the privacy.
Well, that's why I treat them like an adult. I'm like, all right, I'll step outside, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, because then I think, well, maybe this will teach them to use the bathroom by themselves. Like,
I think that's
they're
good.
acting like older, but
so what should Tom do? Is my Homer
Yeah,
bucket? I think my Homer bucket idea is the best.
I scream they're gonna pee their pants and they're gonna beat you up. What else should I do?
I mean, I feel like is it that they're scared? Is it that you're not with them? I just feel like it's a comfort or a security thing. So I'm wondering if you went with them, if that would change it. Also,
Give 'em
are
a
they
phone.
going in the stall or are they trying to use a urinal? I don't know if that.
Well, Tom taught them to poop in urinals. Which I told him that was, but
the
he
upper
says
decker, they do what bullies. I taught them all bullying poop habits. I'm like poop in the top of the bowl in the urinal.
yeah, their bathroom
I'm like,
habits
hide
are
it.
all over. They wash their
Hide it
hands
in
in
the
the
AC.
toilet. It's craziness.
I taught them to poop like bulls.
He also taught them to steal toilet paper from gas stations. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
So it's eventually, this is just something, because I chalk it up to as something they'll grow out of. Eventually, if they have to use it so bad, they'll go in and then realize it's not bad, but they haven't got to that point yet.
Both of them, they hold their pee the whole day.
Oh yeah, the whole, they won't
That's
use.
bad for their bodies.
I tell them,
That's no good. They gotta go.
I tell them, I'm like, you're gonna ruin your bladder. It's gonna be a problem.
Oh, that'll stop them.
No, I
You're
tell
gonna
them.
ruin your bladder.
I don't know what a bladder is.
And they're like, I tell Max, I'm like, Max, you don't understand. It's gonna be bad for your bladder. You're gonna get to a point. It's gonna
You're gonna get a saggy bladder.
Like you literally you'll pee your pants. You won't be able to hold it anymore. It'll be impossible. Like it'll cause incontinence. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna hold it.
You gotta get to the root of it. You gotta figure out why they're scared. I'm with Sam. You gotta ask them and figure out why
No
they're
communication
scared.
ever.
I tell him, and then I'm like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, but you gotta be like, why do you not? Tell me a reason why you do not want to do it.
They just like, I don't know.
I like that their answers.
I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
And then I'm like, oh God,
The next time
forget
you bring
about
him to
it.
the studio, I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah,
They
they
on the
won't.
spot.
No, they
Sam
won't
will get
tell
to the bottom
nothing.
of it.
They just be like, oh, I don't do nothing.
I don't know how to do that.
Honestly, it could be something so simple like they're scared of the automatic dryer sound in the bathroom.
Hold on,
A lot
you
of
brought up
times-
something.
Well, hold on a
They
second.
were.
If they're scared of the dryers, we got bigger problems.
They used to be scared
Well,
of the automatic flusher at the theme parks or whatever, and like when they were little 2-year-olds or whatever, they used to be terrified. I used to have to put a piece of toilet paper over the eye.
Oh,
Your
you
kids
poor
have
man.
absolutely
These
negative
boys.
grit. Negative
They
grit.
really do. See,
I'm
now we're
scared of
we're
it.
getting all the stories out, and now we're just
Now I'm
connecting
getting
the-
mad at Tom.
We're connecting
Well,
the dots of
You've
why
ruined these boys.
We're connecting the dots of why they can't pee at school. It's because you're putting pieces of post-it notes on top of them. Oh, God forbid they hear the flushing noise.
Well, they're scared of it, so I'm like, I'll stop this from.
That's
You've
a-
sheltered them,
You're
and
a-
now they're
No, you
gonna
know
be
what?
babies forever.
Have you heard the term,
Well,
Michelle? It's not helicopter parent anymore. It's bulldozer parent. Bulldozer parents are the
yeah.
parents that push
I know
everything
those
out of the
parents.
way for their kids. There's no a flushing
Like,
noise,
no
and you're like, you
obstacles?
can't have a loud whoosh noise.
Well, I thought that was scaring them away from the toilet, so I thought that like by not making them afraid of, because they wouldn't want to go in there because they're like, I'm scared of the
You
loud
just have
toilet.
to normalize it. You have to show them that you have to reinforce the idea that this is normal. So you just have to act normal when it's happening and say, look, this is how it sounds. This is how it's supposed
Yeah,
to
don't
happen.
start covering it
No,
up
when
like
it
it's a
goes
big bad
off-
monster, flush
When it
monster.
goes
No, you're
off, Tom goes,
reinforcing that it's
It's
scary.
getting out! It's going!
You're insane, man.
Every time the automatic flusher goes off, Tom screams, "It's the water monster! Coming to eat your balls!" That would scare anybody.
Michelle.
Yeah, you're reinforcing the terror for sure.
My boys, they refuse to sleep apart. It's real bad. They codependent, bad. So, and then I try to like tell them like, hey, it's probably not good that you're sleeping in the same bed every night. You're gonna like
You're gonna like Willy Wonka.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you got 2 bedrooms. You probably should give each other space. This is gonna be a bad habit, you know. They're like, we want to do this.
We can't do nothing. They do
And then I'm like, oh, fine, do what you want. But it's been a long time, and I think I ruined them. What do you say, Michelle?
So they're still sleeping in the same bed every night?
Oh yeah.
And they're 14 and 16.
No.
Yeah, you're going to need to break that up soon because Tommy is over 5 now, right?
He's 7 years old.
He's 7 years old.
He's got a part-time job at Fun Stop.
He's growing a tiny mustache.
I would say you need to start slow. So maybe having 2 separate beds in the same room at first and having them sleep separately in the room.
Yeah, but they like to 69 the whole night. It's going to be weird.
That's a lot of work, Michelle. How bad is it if they just sleep in the same? I figured
it's going to be Menendez brothers all over again.
No, that's only bad
Michelle,
for Tom. And Crystal.
I'm trying. Okay, Michelle, this is my.
I got nothing to say on this one because
this is my theory, and tell me if this is about good enough. Because that's
good enough.
Yeah.
Brace myself. Yeah.
So I'm looking at it like, well, eventually, when they start getting older, they're going to want the bed by themselves and it all work itself out, right? Like, less work for me, more just let it work. And then they'll be like, well, I am,
Just neglect the problem until it works itself out.
Or maybe on their wedding night, they'll turn to their partner and say, I can't sleep without my bro. Just maybe.
No, because I'm looking at it like all these things, these things you did when you were a kid, like you grow out of it.
You do, because I sucked my thumb out of a blanket until I was like 11.
Yeah. And then parents freak out about all these different things. You got the helmet, the corrector helmet, all these things. They're like, Crystal's like, Max says like he has like a little, he still talks a little bit like a baby. He says like his S's like a little like a baby. He has like a little baby talk. And he's like, oh, we got to get a speech therapist. And we got to throw some money at
Actually, it's not the therapist. It's the helmet for the S's.
And then I'm just like, it'll work itself out, I'm sure. And then like, have you talked to the teachers? Have they brought it to you? Then they're like, teacher says it's fine. And I'm like, it's fine, because I think people are so wrapped up in like, oh, this is not perfect, and I think it all will kind of work itself out. Especially, you probably deal with a lot of kids that have real like severe issues, and those need to be dealt with. But all this normal BS, parents are overreacting to, right?
But what's normal and what's not? I mean, there are milestones that you can look up for free for every age for your child to figure out if they're hitting those milestones typically the way that they're supposed to. And that's a good way to keep an eye on it as a parent to kind of help you gauge, is this something to freak out about right now? Or is this something that they can develop over time and I don't need to worry about it? So that's something I would recommend you do, is just check out the CDC website has free printouts for each age level, and you can check the milestones just to see if they're on track. There's also developmental screeners that a lot of child care providers use. There's one called Ages and Stages Questionnaire, and it's usually something they send home with parents, and you do it at home, and then you turn it back in and you have a conversation about that child's development. So as long as those things are happening on track and no one is super concerned, I think it's fine. If Crystal is concerned about the speech, there's free resources out there for formal assessments, just to give yourself some peace of mind, even if it's not a big deal.
I've got ultimate peace of mind. But here's the thing: my wife's nervous about everything.
So is your business partner, and so is your producer.
And I'm just like, it's
and
fine.
And the one guy
it's
who's
all
confident
fine.
is an idiot.
I know. That gives me pause a little bit, because I'm like, should I be nervous?
Did I break it down? I think I broke it down.
I'm like, what side do I want to be on? Because I don't want to be on either side.
Choose your side, buddy.
I don't know. You could be on team paranoia or team confidence.
Yeah.
Your choice.
But can I be in the middle?
Well, I think that's kind of the lesson that Michelle's trying to teach us, is that you can be in the middle. Now, I would like to say this is one of the strangest Weird Job Wednesdays we've done, because you've really done less of telling us how you got into your job, or why you do your job, or why you love your job, or why you love helping these children, gather their emotions and maybe conquer a milestone that maybe they wouldn't have if they had not run into you.
All right. We'll talk about you, Michelle, for a second.
Well, no, now I've got my questions for Maisie.
Sorry. We ran out of time. We ran out of time. I'm sorry. So, Michelle, like when you work with kids, how difficult is that, especially like if the parents aren't on board with you? Like,
that's got to be the hardest part, is getting everybody on the same page.
They have to put in the work too. Really, it's like you can't do it all.
Yeah, it's really hard. And often I'm supporting a teacher and I'm not actually talking to the parent. I'm basically coaching them on how to have these conversations. So I'm a bit removed from the situation in that way. So it does make it a little harder because sometimes I'm really translating something like it's the game of telephone. I'm hearing it through somebody else. So I really have to give them the empowerment and the confidence to have these really challenging conversations with parents because they do get resistant. They are very sensitive to labels. They don't want a diagnosis, which I completely understand. They're worried about the cost of services if their child needs support. There's a lot that goes into this.
The labeling is
a lifelong commitment a lot of times, which is really scary.
Yeah, the labeling is a big one because I can even remember a few years ago when I even got, just with dealing with my anxiety, when you see it on a piece of paper or a diagnosis from an actual physician's claiming what you have it can take you back a little bit, especially when you're dealing with somebody who is under your care and somebody you can care about so much. I know that my daughter is kind of dealing with a little bit of anxiety, so I'm trying to be a little more mindful of that because obviously I would imagine she got it from me.
Michelle, does it drive you crazy that all parents think they're professional, when it comes to kids, like child psychologist, doctor, or whatever it is, and you're
especially on Facebook or social media,
you're like,
I see a lot of them coming to the forefront of modern pediatric medicine.
You're like, what the hell do you know? Like you work at AutoZone.
You're the manager of the Lee Road AMCO, and you're just giving me everything I should do to my child's mind.
Yeah, I feel like I am totally open with I don't know nothing. Obviously, I'm doing wrong. Like everything I'm doing is wrong. Of course I'm doing it wrong because I didn't even look at it do it right. I'm just, in my mind, I'm like, this seems right for no reason. And I think
I meet plenty of those parents too who are overly confident, but then also some that are just like, please help me. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I've definitely experienced both. I think what's interesting sometimes is I do get challenged on my knowledge. I have a master's in early childhood education. I'm certified in infant mental health. So I've definitely done the work and I've done the studies to understand these things. But that doesn't necessarily mean I have all the answers. I also have to be around children, right? And I don't have any of my own kids. I don't plan on having any of my own kids. So I'm kind of a unicorn in my field of work where I'm giving advice to parents, whereas I'm probably never going to be a parent myself. And some parents feel a certain way about that. But my sort of challenge back against that is that I don't have a bias in this. When I'm giving you advice, I'm giving it purely from my knowledge and experience and not from my own personal experiences with my own child, which I think can be even more valuable in those situations.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's an interesting perspective. I really like that. Yeah.
And going back to child development, is there a sweet spot? Because I started
for boys it's around, I want to say like 15 or 16, you start getting some sprouts.
Well, I started to
your
look.
voice changes.
I started to look this up because I was like, you can hack a human. Like there's certain psychologically
Sounds
and
gross when he says it.
Well, I mean, like
you're proving that you're a robot.
Well, no, there's studies.
How do I hack a human?
There's studies about like kids develop like hand-eye coordination around these years, and if you focus real hard and different years of their development, you could actually make them better at this particular skill because at this years their brain really works hard on like computing.
Yeah,
this.
what should we be working on with our children?
But I got lazy and I was like, go play Minecraft. And then I gave up. But is there anything?
That's where the milestones come in. That's where it's really good to know what are they supposed to be developing right now. And oftentimes you can find resources online for free to help you do that at home. So kind of knowing at this time, what are the things that are developing in their brain or physically, their gross motor, and how can you develop that with activities around the house? Because I assume that the childcare providers that you're bringing them to, they're naturally doing a lot of those things in the classroom, but there's definitely stuff at home.
I don't know where my daughter is right now. If she's with you, please tell her. Leave her there.
Yeah. And I got the weirdo neighbor watching my sons right now.
You're probably giving him a sip of white label Mabel Budweiser right now.
Yeah. And they were scared.
Actually, I think your neighbor with the van was taking the boys up to Colorado Fondue Kitchen, right?
So
for lunch.
Michelle, do you work with kids individually, or is it a group setting, or how is your particular job structured?
So what happens is I'm under a grant-funded program, so it's free to providers. They just have to reach out to us and let us know they'd like to participate in our services. And then once we identify what their concern is, sometimes it's a classroom-wide issue, like they have a bunch of kids who seem to be running the classroom and they need help to figure out how to support those power struggles. Sometimes it's they're enrolling a child that they know is going to have special needs, so they're trying to prepare for how they can accommodate that child in the classroom. A lot of times what I'm getting called for is sort of a crisis situation where they're about to expel a kid because their behavior is so out of control that they can't figure out how to keep them in that space safely. So they call almost like a 911 service for us to come in and observe the classroom, give them some feedback, give them some strategies to use right away that are going to help with some of those. It's usually physical aggression is what we see with those social emotional control things. So try to support all of that. And we do that through one-on-one consultation. Right now it's virtual. We don't go in person, unfortunately. But we also offer training. So we do group trainings for teachers on a range of topics from social emotional to sensory to special healthcare needs, because some children need feeding tubes and things like that. So we train in group settings as well.
What's the most common problem? Like, is it like autism or Asperger's, or like them being on the spectrum where they're like, they're not severe enough to be in a special school, but they're still on a spectrum and they're having a hard time acclimating to the rest of the class? Because
the social aspect of it can be difficult.
Because I remember when I was in middle school, my buddy the Wizard, he's got Asperger's, and no one knew it in middle school, and they just knew him as a bad kid. Literally, the teachers were like, "This kid's a bad kid. He's he talks back.
He's actually a really, really super smart kid."
But
that's what happens a lot of times is the behavior overshadows a child's actual capabilities in a classroom. So they end up getting shuffled through different situations where they're either getting expelled out of programs or they're just being ignored and sort of neglected because the teacher doesn't want to deal with it. So it's kind of a missed opportunity because they are usually extremely intelligent. The children who have the most struggles in terms of behavior are typically so incredibly intelligent because they're able to manipulate adults. And that's a high form of intelligence.
That's why my wife fell in love with me. I'm a genius bad boy. The ladies love the genius bad boys.
And, how do you
like a leather jacket with a pocket protector?
It's the undiagnosed stuff that's the most challenging. It's the sensory related things that we know children are really sensitive to certain sensory experiences in the space, whether it's overstimulation or understimulation. And that's usually related to something that's undiagnosed, like being on the autism spectrum. And that is a very sensitive thing for a lot of parents. They do not want their child diagnosed with autism.
Yeah.
They don't even want to talk about it. So we have to find strategies to kind of work around a diagnosis that really should probably be happening and just try to do the best we can with what we have.
What is that worry about being, I've heard that before, about being labeled or diagnosed that people are so scared of? What's the fear there?
It's a lifelong stigma. I think people view it I think it's getting better. I think we're getting to a point where people are starting to see this differently. And so I think it will change over time. But right now, I think a lot of people who are young parents or parents of young children came from a generation where they saw kids who had labels put in separate classrooms that you never saw again.
Yeah, almost like something was wrong with them.
Yeah. But now we see Elon Musk. He's dressed like Wario. He's a billionaire. Like, that guy's got Asperger's. They're all got Asperger's.
Look at that guy.
Every gambling guy I listen to, the math guy, there's a rich Asperger's.
A lot of your sports numbers guys.
Like all these guys.
A lot of your video game guys.
Like, I'm equating it to, I'm looking at my sons. I'm like, come on, you got some burgers in there?
Dude, there's a lot
of burgers.
You'll be
vegan and you know it.
there's a lot of e-gamers that have been open about this. Guys that are severe, like guys that are kings of Madden, just I mean, making thousands of dollars.
That's a whole movement right now in that world called neurodiversity. And so what we're finding is there are cultures of people who have autism or Down syndrome who are sort of like proud of their diagnosis, and they live this culture with people who identify the same way. And it's almost as if the people who identify in those groups don't want a cure to those things because they see it as a benefit to their life.
I've changed.
There's people on the other side of that too, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I've changed my whole perspective on anybody with Down syndrome, and I look at them, I'm like they're a happier person than I'll ever be. Like every person with Down syndrome I see, they're a happy person, and I look at them, I'm jealous that they're so happy.
We have
seriously,
but we have some friends of the show that have Downs. That are awesome. They're
happier than I've ever. The happiest people I know. And so I don't look at it like, oh, I feel sorry for them. I'm like happier than anybody I'll ever know. Happier than I'll ever be.
And they lead long, wonderful lives. You guys talk to that gentleman who does the Special Olympics. Look at all the exciting things he gets to do.
Oh, Chris Nikic. Oh my God.
Happier, richer.
He's also gonna compete
more
in the
successful
Kona World Championships for
has achieved
Ironman.
more than I ever have and ever will in my life. What the list keeps on going. What else do you want? I'm sure.
I mean, just a basic one for you and I. His dad's still alive.
There's
a lot of good
better
things.
family support.
Better family support. Good looking.
He gets to look at Simone's big old.
Why would you say that?
He likes it.
He's got abs.
She told me.
He's got abs.
And she's been bullying me about my Staghorn, so she deserves it. Is there any, I guess, downfalls to working like?
I bet emotionally it is quite taxing on you to do what you do, is it not?
Really difficult. As hard as I try sometimes to prevent expulsions, they do happen. Ultimately, it's up to the child care provider and their policies to make those decisions. I've experienced some really hard situations where we've worked for months with a child and a teacher in a classroom, and then I call and they're just gone, and now we're not working with them anymore. I don't know where that child went. So it does weigh on me a little bit that, like, what could we have done more, to help that child? Because really, ultimately, our goal is we want them to stay in that same environment, because there is no magical classroom where children with special needs just instantly get what they need.
Correct.
What we need is to create classrooms with typically developing children that also accommodate children who have special needs, so that there's more access and we allow parents more choice, which is really, really important.
I love it.
Well, Michelle,
what a great weird job.
Yeah,
this was like more like a good job Wednesday.
We need more Michelles in this world.
I agree.
And I'm sure you're rich because of it. You probably get paid.
I'm a millionaire.
What do you make? $300-400K a year?
I mean, we all know that teachers, especially those that work with kids that need special attention, they make the most amount of money.
Because our society dumps a bunch of money into these people that help.
We value education more than football or anything else in the world. Education.
I'm actually calling you from my summer home, right?
We knew it.
The helicopters on the roof.
I knew it.
No, I don't make a lot of money. A person in my field or in this type of position can probably make between 55 and 70 a year, maybe.
Not enough.
God.
And you're talking Seattle money.
Right. So that's Washington money. So you can imagine what that might look like in other places.
Oh my God.
Florida is $32,000 a year. Starting.
But we got the sunshine.
Michelle,
so if you see things like this pop up on your voting cards, please make sure you research, because my grant funded program, our money comes from a levy that comes from the tax in a county. So it's really important that you're reading what those levies are, what kind of tax, how the taxes are being used in your county, where that goes to. Super, super critical for programs like mine, because in the snap of a finger, I can lose my job. In fact, our funding runs out this year, and it gets a vote in August. So I may not be doing this job next year, depending on how that goes. So really, really important to do your research. Please vote.
So you're saying not to walk in angry and just vote your party line and know and everything because of that.
Supposed to do a little
That's
research.
what I heard. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So read what you're voting on.
Read
Okay.
about it. Read
Yeah.
about it. Michelle, thank you so much for your time. If we have any other, children questions, and I'm sure we will, I'd love to chat with you again because you're awesome.
Please.
And
I've wanted to do this for a long time, and I've just been too nervous. So I'm glad I finally did it.
Don't be nervous. You crushed it.
Oh, I got a text. Tommy peed his pants.
Yeah.
It happened.
There it is.
And then I'm going to get home, and I'm going to be like, oh, now you see? You're going to go to the bathroom? I'm not doing nothing. All right, Michelle. We'll talk to you again.
See ya.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye. She's fantastic. Wow, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was. Hard job, man.
Yes.
My friends work at a
Yep.
special needs school.
I thought of them, yeah.
And one's a principal, one's a teacher, and
they both specialized in special needs kids, didn't they?
Yeah, well, everybody in their class, or everybody in the school.
It's a special
Yeah,
school?
it's for like, if you have autism and different
Yeah.
spectrums and everything, and man, like it's a rough job, and I'm
Hard.
like, man, that's
but a needed job.
Yeah, it is, and they care, and everybody does these jobs
because they give an F.
The saddest part is
Yeah.
they care so much, and that's what keeps them doing it, regardless of the
We
money.
know it's not the money.
And so that's those people. You need to put some money into it, so you get the people that are doing it for the money. Because it can't just be the people that care.
Yeah.
Because that's
You run out of those
That's yes, and then you get the people that don't care and then have to do it for
That's
that
when
pay.
you get abusive situations, bad things, bad seeds, bad apples.
Or people that don't care, and then they're not doing the kids the justice that they need. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, we'll take a break and come back with more, or is that it?
No, that's it. No, we'll take a break.
Oh, we are breaking?
Break.
We'll be back.
Okay.